The college baseball season comes early, and we have all been waiting.
I turn the lights on.
The home opener brings optimism that winter is winding down and spring is on the way. Razorback baseball brings hope, possibility, and opportunity. And Arkansas baseball always brings excitement. Power on the mound and in the batter's box.
All of it, but it still leaves the park.
Majestic stadium shaking strikeouts. And good old-fashioned SEC hardball.
Pitch. Immaculate. 9 pitches, 9 strikes. Parker Coyle is fired up.
Conference championships, Golden Spikes winners, first-round draft picks, and trips to Omaha are all part of the fantastical equation. What might lie ahead is what brings us back. Baumwalker Stadium is our cathedral. The bright lights and the big stage summon fans from across the natural state. The hog pen that has been quiet for months has come alive for the spring. For all that has changed in sports, the standard in Razorback land has not and will not. Players get drafted and graduate. The team culture remains. The work in the fall and the preparation of January, February, and March blooms into success in April, May, and June. Hard work and dedication intersect with opportunity and sometimes immortality.
Swing and a miss! Greatness from Gage! A no-hitter!
We've all seen that narrative over and over again, but a new chapter is about to be written. Fayetteville is the origin of the 2026 story. Omaha remains the destination. In between is where memories are made. Let's enjoy the ride in 2026. It's opening weekend at Baumwalker Stadium.
Well, it's a beautiful day out here at Baumwalker Stadium. Maybe a little bit colder than it was yesterday, but on the heels of a win, the number 8 Razorbacks are looking to take on Xavier here at home and see if they can't maybe win a series on a Saturday in the second game of opening weekend. And glad to have you with us. I'm Sean Murner alongside Troy Eklund for today's game. And Troy, we mentioned that win yesterday. It was a really good game led by great pitching.
Yeah, it really was. You know, Gabe Gackle threw really well. I think everybody's got real high expectations for him. Solid performance. Great job by Ryan Peach from Xavier. You know, he had 9 strikeouts, and it was really, really good ball game. And again, Arkansas really didn't do much with the bats, but, you know, they hit when they needed to and drove in some runs.
To your point, they were out hit in yesterday's game, but still managed to come through with a big win there.
Yeah, only 4 hits, but this one right here, you see Peach really dotting that breaking ball. The fastball went up to 94 miles an hour. After a couple guys got on in the first, Cam Kozel goes opposite field for a 3-run bomb. Later on in the game, with a pair on after a hit batter in an air, Nolan Souza comes up, drives one to left center for a pair of RBIs. That stretched the lead out to 5-1. It got it to be 5-2, and Arkansas just shut it down after that.
Well, and there you've got the line score from yesterday. We mentioned 5-2. They got off to a hot start, though, with those 3 runs early and never looked back.
They really did, and you can see the job by Peach. He had 5 straight strikeouts, 9 Ks in the game. Cam Kozel, big game. Really good to see Nolan Souza get a pair of doubles. And, you know, he came off that shoulder injury from a season ago, didn't hit all fall. They even let him hit for both teams early in the spring just to try to get more at-bats.
Well, now Hunter Dietz is tasked, the left-handed sophomore, with trying to follow up the effort that Gackle put together yesterday.
Yeah, Hunter Dietz has got some electric stuff, Sean. He's going to be 94 to 97 with that fastball. It's really tough to hit. He'll throw an overhand breaking ball and a little bit of a cutter as well. So, again, really good stuff. If he can throw strikes, he's almost unhittable.
And there's your lineup for the Xavier first pitch on the way, and, well, we're underway here. That one goes upside. Luke Hammond up to the plate, hitting .208 so far this season, up against Dietz out there. So,
yeah, this, I tell you what, Sean, this Xavier lineup, they are not scared to swing the bats. They are aggressive early and often.
And that's with sort of the order being a little bit reorganized here with some of the recent injuries that they've had.
Yeah, some really tough injuries for Xavier. They've got probably their 1, 2, 3 hitters in the lineup are out. You've got Connor Mish out for a concussion. Clay Burdett has an oblique strain. He did make the trip. We might see him. They said maybe defensively, probably not at the plate. And then Valdez has a hamate bone injury. So you got a lot of firepower for this offense that's just not able to play right now.
All right, now Hammond is in a full count at 2-2, so Dietz kicks and deals. It's on the ground right side, a dribbler to second. Kozel's up with it, a sidearm throw to first, and that's in time for the first out of the day.
Really good job by Dietz right there, just battling, making sure he's filling up that strike zone.
Now you've got to deal with, I don't know, what is it in the South? They call him a hoss. You got Josh Stonehouse is coming up, and anytime that anybody talks about him, it's not the 348 average or the 3 home runs. It's this guy is just a unit when he gets into the box.
Yeah, and he's a freshman, which is really hard to believe. He looks like a guy that's gone through 3, maybe 4 years of strength and conditioning training. It's definitely a big kid, like 6'1", 230, and it's all of that. There's not an ounce of fat on this kid.
I mean, I saw him, during BP today in right field, and I made the comment, it's like, is that the guy out there? And somebody said yes. And I said, why does he look like he's standing 10 feet away from me?
Exactly.
And he's a good 60 yards. There he swings through that pitch and makes it 1-2.
There's the cutter by Dietz, and you'll see that run about 88, 89 miles an hour. It's got some really good late life. Arkansas is going to do the shift. They're going to bring Pompey over from third base to play on the right side of second.
Stonehouse lifts it in the air down the left field line. It's a long run for Ruiz into foul ground, and he can't get there. That one drops, and, well, that ends up facilitating another pitch, but that fastball up to 97 here in the first inning.
Yeah, he's got some good late life, a lot of carry, and I was talking to pitching coach Matt Hobbs, and he said, really, the Arkansas lineup offensively, anytime they faced Hunter Dietz, he said, we really didn't hit him. It's just a matter of if he can fill up the strike zone, then he's going to have a lot of success.
Dietz coming off of an interesting outing the last time, redshirt sophomore. There he gets a swing and a miss for the strikeout right there, and that's the second out of the inning, first punch out of the day for Hunter Dietz.
Yeah, really nice. I threw that cutter again. And again, a lot of Arkansas fans that follow the broadcast know this, but Arkansas allows catcher Ryder Helfrich to call the pitches. See that late life on that cutter, and boy, that's a pitch that starts in the zone. And as a freshman, I don't think you see that in high school at an 89-mile-an-hour cutter very often.
No, with 2 outs on the board, Landon Mensick, the left fielder, steps in. He's hitting in that 3-hole today with a couple of homers to his credit this year. And Troy, it goes to the point, though, it's when you get to this level and any of the above levels, you're going to see a lot of guys that have that type of movement on their stuff where it's going to start out in a safe area, a go zone, if you will, and then it just kind of falls out of the air. Yeah,
I think so, and that's the thing. It's not as much about the velocity, just like you said, and what you're alluding to, Sean, is it's all about the movement of the pitch, and that's what Dietz has. It's up in the Xavier dugout. You talk about Landon Mensick. I saw him play in the very first game of the season. Xavier went on a road trip to East Carolina. I want to say it might have been his first, maybe second at-bat. Shot one down the right field line for a home run. So he's definitely got a little pop into all fields.
Here's the 2-2. Break even, tapped foul back behind the plate again, so we'll do it all over. 2 outs, 2-2 count, scoreless game, top half of the first inning. Mensick up to the plate. Dietz has dispatched the first 2 hitters he's seen on a ground ball to second and a strikeout. Break even. Swing and a miss. Got him on another off-speed pitch inside, and it's back-to-back strikeouts for Dietz here to close out the first. Bottom half here at Baum-Walker Stadium. Sean Murner alongside Troy Eklund. And Troy, now we get to take a look at the other side. It's another sophomore, this time a righty, in Jack Noby.
Yeah, you got Noby goes about, you see 6'3", 190 out of Missouri up by St. Louis area. He's going to sit in that upper 80s, low 90s with that fastball. A 4-pitch mix guy will throw the the curve slider and a change. He's pretty quick to the plate. He's going to be tough to run on. And again, he's got some good stuff. Came in with a 2.08 ERA, pitched really well against East Carolina last Saturday, and they got the victory in not only the first game that Ryan Peach threw, but also the game that Jack Noby threw as well.
Well, he's been on the roster for Xavier since last year, and he was 2-3. This will be his 22nd appearance for Xavier over the course of his career there. Meanwhile, on the Arkansas side of things, you have, once again, just a packed lineup there, and at the very top, a guy that gets on base a whole lot.
Yeah, Damian Ruiz, he had 13 consecutive at-bats, which is a DVH record, and then you got Nolan Souza behind him, and again, we talked about Souza getting a lot of extra swings in that early spring just to try to get him caught up a little bit. And talking to Nolan a little bit, he said he feels like he's kind of going back to some of the things he did his freshman year in that game yesterday, and felt like he saw the baseball better. And sometimes you resort back to those things where you had so much success, and I think you're going to see him really take off pretty soon.
Ruiz tried to check the swing on that first pitch, but goes around. Fastball up to get things rolling. And, more to your point, he had a couple of knocks yesterday. One of them went for extra bases when you're talking about Souza, but now Ruiz up there hitting a cool 429 to start the season.
Yeah, that's not too shabby.
No.
You'll get to lead off for a long time. He finds himself 0-2 right now. That's Noby painted the ball in the outside corner, and that's a down by Fitz, the catcher, to frame that one up. He almost might have stolen a strike right there.
There's the 0-2, swing and a miss, though. That's strike three. 93 miles per hour up in the zone, and the first out of the bottom half of the inning recorded. Here comes the aforementioned Nolan Souza.
Yeah, Jack Noby didn't mess around. Nothing off speed. Went, 3 straight fastballs, and again, I love that he went up and away with that high fastball. It's a pitch that's tough to lay off with 2 strikes and tough to catch up to as well.
Souza steps up to the plate, hoping to comb the curves a little bit more efficiently than the leadoff man. Noby deals, and the first one gets in there for a called strike. Souza, we have the leadoff hitter hitting 429, 222, but we kind of said that tongue-in-cheek with the 429. It's so early in the season to really know what that means. 0-1, misses low.
You can always tell kind of a hitter's mannerisms in the box, and it seems like that Souza's seeing the ball pretty well, especially like if you see a pitch that's it's going to be a ball and about halfway to the plate, they've already kind of given the body language. They've given up on that pitch because they know it's not a strike. That's a great job by Jack Noby, pitching up and in, using all parts of the zone. It's one thing we saw out of Xavier pitchers. They're not afraid to not only move the ball in and out, but up and down as well, Sean.
Especially with the way he throws. Here's the 1-2. That's hit in the air to left field. Mensick is there. And he makes the catch easily for the second out of the inning. It brings up Ryder Helfrich, but as you were talking about at the top of the inning, he's got that fastball that likes to ride and move, at least look like it's moving up in the zone, but then the pitchability of the curve, it's great to be able to move it in and out, but if you, especially with that fastball, if you can move that up and down through the zone, that's going to set that curve up in a disastrous way for hitters.
I really think so, and you've seen already so far what a lot of hitting coaches like to talk about, or pitching coaches say, you want to change the eye height of the hitter.
There's a soft line drive into center field. Crisp was playing deep, and so that gets down in front of him, well in front of him, and that's a base knock. First one of the game for either side, and Ryder Helfrich is aboard to bring up the cleanup man in Camden Kojal.
We talked about that a little bit on the broadcast yesterday. It seemed like last year it was Cam, and I think his mom likes Camden, so it's like, okay, we're going to keep Mama happy and use his official name. So, I tell you what, you keep calling him Camden after he hit a 3-run bomb in the first inning of yesterday's ball game.
The first pitch to the left, he gets in for a called strike. I'll tell you what, I don't know about him, but I would be in a situation where I hit a 3-run homer. You could call me whatever you want. Just keep saying it.
That's right. Again, Jack Noby not afraid to pitch inside, especially these left-handed batters. You saw even with the flat to Souza, it really jammed him on that swing.
One misses outside, though today is a day where you may have to be careful with that, because if you're not going to have that pinpoint accuracy, the wind is blowing out to right, and it's 320 down the line.
Yeah, the wind is really blowing out. You got the north wind, and you don't see that very often at Baum Walker, but early in the season, February, Yeah, everything's going to really carry out to right field and not really knock anything down. Maybe a ball down the left field line by a left-hander that's kind of slicing into that wind might get knocked down a little bit, but the ball's really going to fly today. You might see several leave the yard.
Noby with the runner on first. The ball's hit well high in the air to right center field. The wind's blowing that way. Both outfielders back, and it's gone. Kojal with his 4th of the season. And once again, the Razorbacks have an early lead in the first.
I think Camden heard me well. Just get that thing up in the jet stream. And I think it might have had a chance to get out without the wind, but it was definitely a no-doubter. And he has probably been the most consistent hitter, maybe besides Ryder Helfrich so far. This is a pitch that's right down the middle, kind of had a little late tail on it. Great job by Kojal to see Crisp go back. He thought he had a bead on it, just ran out of real estate out there, made a great effort, but you can see it cleared well over that right center field fence.
That's cool. Kahio Aloy, who also has some touch-em-all power, he takes the first pitch for a strike. I think the important thing to notice is you could sort of see with Kojal there, it's a good sign if he's taking that pitch to kind of right center there, isn't it? Because that means he's sort of timing-wise, he's right where he needs to be on that pitch.
Yeah, I think so. It was supposed to be an inside fastball, but sometimes, you know, that late life and that tail on that fastball kind of drew it back over the middle of the plate, and Kojal hammered that pitch by Jack Noby. And talk about hammering a pitch. Kahio Aloy hit one 448 in Globe Life Field with no wind assistance inside the dome there in Arlington last weekend. And boy, you talk about a guy that can hit some tape measure shots and definitely does not get cheated at the plate. That's Kahio Aloy.
He's hitting 400 so far in the early part of the year. And he takes that pitch just a little bit low. And again, that's not an easy pitch to lay off of either. I mean, to spit on that one is, you know, you've got to be in a really good spot mentally.
Yeah, I think so. And that's the thing about Kahio. He makes such good contact with balls in the strike zone. If he can have that good pitch recognition and lay off those pitches down in the zone, I think he's going to have a lot of success.
And even just do that. If it's a borderline pitch and you think you can get to it, if you can foul it off, there's a chance you might see one a little bit more up in the zone.
Yeah, you just got to spoil those pitchers' pitches.
Here's the break even. 2-2 just missed the outside edge. That's a great take by Aloy. That's 2 of them so far in this at bat. Plus, when he fouled off that last pitch, it's taken him to a full count now. In a 2-0 game, Razorbacks have the lead. Noby pitched 19 of the first, misses outside, and that's a walk. So a single, a homer, and a walk, all with 2 outs. And these are the situations where a pitching coach can be in a dugout pulling his hair out.
Yeah, I think so. And that's a really quality at-bat by Kahio Aloy. Found himself, you know, down in the count and then just worked his way back. Just being patient and not being too jumpy and expanding that strike zone with 2 strikes.
So that's Reese Robinette up there. Noby from the stretch, misses in by the elbow. Starts him off in a 1-0 count. And so this is almost a little bit surprised there that we didn't see maybe a little bit more back and forth out on the mound, just because it's the single and the homer, which those are some good swings, but then the walk, maybe try and see if you can't get this guy, you know, in and around where he was nibbling before and really kind of stymieing those first 2 hitters he saw.
Yeah, I think so. And, you know, Fitz comes out to have a chat with Noby, and I think I like your advice as well, Sean, of maybe go out after that home run, just try to slow that heartbeat down just a little bit. And, you know, he didn't do it, you know, 2 pitches ago. Now Noby's found himself 2 balls, no strikes to a guy that's definitely got some power in Reese Robinette, and it goes by the nickname Big Country. And so let's see what Big Country can do at the plate right here.
Yeah, he's not exactly a small guy down there either, huh? The ball rattled through the left side just past the diving glove of Ace. It's a single to left field. There's runners at first and second with 2 outs, and Micah New on his way up to the plate in a 2-0 game.
I think that's what Arkansas fans saw a year ago with Reese Robinette when he had his opportunity to play after a few injuries, the injury to Souza, and then Kojal goes from first to second. and Robinette gets that opportunity. He really hit that ball the other way, and that just shows me kind of a veteran-type hitter, not afraid to let that ball travel a little bit deeper in the zone and see if Xavier can't get out of this inning with only giving up a pair of runs.
Well, there's a breaking ball that missed inside. And, this could be a completely different inning from the Eloy at bat there because, not for nothing, those were two pitches. There's plenty of guys that would have gotten out on those balls, and instead Eloy able to hold off, and now look what's happened.
Yeah, really not only adding a little pressure to Xavier.
Sky-high pop-up, back behind the plate. Fitz ranges back into fair ground, but it's the first baseman, Townsend, who makes the catch for the final out of the inning. But the big spot in this one, Camden Kojal goes deep again.
Yeah, after a base hit by Ryder Helfrich, here's Camden Kojal. Got a hold of one, just rode that one out to right field. Hogs up 2-1 after one.
Inning, Hunter Dietz is back on the hill, the left-hander. Got him down in order in the first, Troy.
Yeah, he looked really good. His command was good, and I think that's what Matt Hobbs, the pitching coach for Arkansas, really wanted Dietz to hone in on. It's like, hey, your stuff's really good. Trust it. Just fill up that strike zone. See him start off with a cutter right there. And that cutter's got a really big sweeping action. Took a little something off of that one.
Now, a left-on-left matchup, you figure he can really use that pitch pretty well because a lot of times that cutter left on left is going to look like it's going to hit you in the hip and then it breaks your bat.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's a pretty good pitch, and Dietz goes about 6'6". Definitely a high strike. I don't think the Xavier dugout really liked that one. You saw some moans and groans coming out of that, but you've got Peter DH, who's pretty big, and you talk about a big hack. My goodness, Sean.
That was a fastball up, it looked like, and he just kind of went right down to a knee trying to elevate on that pitch.
It's kind of look like an old Reggie Jackson swing. go down to the knee.
Full commitment. Oh, the 2-2, he swings and misses at that one. That was fading away from him, though, and that's already the third strikeout here for Dietz.
Boy, again, another really good cutter by Hunter Dietz. Watch where this thing starts and where it ends up. And also you saw that Ryder Helfrich made his glove point, his target, put it up and in to the left-hander because he knew that pitch has so much movement. He goes, hey, start it up here because I know it's going to have a lot of horizontal movement and end up down and away.
Well, now it's Jonathan Fitz's turn to get up there and try to do some damage against Dietz. He's off to a good start this season offensively with a .417 average. He's taken 6 walks already as well. He's got more walks than hits.
That's a really good eye. Fitz 1 for 3 yesterday.
On one gets a swing and a miss.
This Musketeer team yesterday, they did pound out 9 hits, out-hit Arkansas 9-5. It's kind of not, how many hits you get, it's when you get them. And Arkansas had some key hits with base runners on. You had the 2-men on, 3-run homer by Kojal, and then 2 men on and a double by Nolan Souza. And that's how Arkansas pounded out those 5 runs.
The hits came in important spots, and well, they did a lot of damage too. They were well struck balls. 2-2 misses outside, and now it's a full count here. Really haven't seen Dietz in any trouble through the first 4 hitters that he's faced, but here he is in a full count.
Dietz doesn't like that baseball. He's not even going to let him put it back in the umpire's pouch. He's like, I'm going to get rid of this one. So Dietz should have some pretty good balance. And so he goes 6'6". How about size 16 shoes? So
that's a good base. That's whacked the other way. Diving try at first. Robinette off his glove into foul ground, and that'll put Fitz at first base. It's the first runner to reach against Dietz so far today, and it's here in the second inning.
Great effort by Reese Robinette over there at first base. And sometimes you want a left-handed first baseman. In this place, the right-handed first baseman almost helped because he had the glove on the side he was diving to, but just out of the reach. I think he was 6'3.5". I think he would have made that play.
Eddie Peters swings through the first that pitch right there. And, well, the shortstop also swinging a hot bat right now, 444. He gets up to the plate for the first time today with a runner aboard.
Yeah, I had a pair of hits, 2 for 3 yesterday.
And that one gets the inside corner for a called strike.
Ryder Helfrich doubled up on that cutter right there. After the bad swing by Peters on the first one and then taking the second one, you might see him throw this pitch again, maybe waste a fastball up out of the zone.
0-2, he tried to hold up and went around. Home plate umpire James Ainsworth rings him up, and it's another strikeout for Dietz. All swinging, but that's number 4.
Yeah, that was the same pitch. 3 cutters in a row, and you can see that late life on that thing. And, boy, such a tough pitch to lay off of, especially with 2 strikes. This thing starts in the zone, really just locks up Peters. You can see Helfrich trying to get a little extra help.
Tommy Townsend.
It always cracks me up. You think that at all levels in baseball, the catcher immediately points down to the umpire, at first base or third base, and they need to spin around and say, umpire right behind me, you're the one who has to notify the other guys if they're going to ask for help or not. So it's funny how they don't ask the right person.
Yeah.
You just ask the guy right behind you going, hey, did he go? And if they didn't, they'll either call it or they'll ask for some assistance.
The angles are strange with that, too. There's a swing and a miss as well. So now it's a 1-2 count. And I found out over the last 10 or so years that is completely a judgment call, too. It's not even – I was always taught it's the front edge of the plate that you have to go past for it to be a swing. It's intent-based, so the umpire has to interpret what your intent was. Runner takes off, swing and a miss at the plate. Doesn't matter. Another strikeout for Hunter Dietz. The lefty's got 5, and we've got a 2-0 Arkansas lead after 1.5. Add on to what's been a strong start to the 2026 season. They run-rolled Oklahoma State on Friday, 12-2. They did lose to number 10 TCU 5-4, but then they took down Texas Tech 5-4 in 11 innings. And, of course, we talked about Damian Ruiz and his prowess at the plate so far.
Yeah, he just had a good weekend. Anytime you can go play at a big league park indoors in February, it's really nice. And then the crowds were just phenomenal. How Razorback Nation traveled down to Dallas. So many, former alumni live in the DFW area. We had one game, I think it was the TCU game. It was almost 23,000 fans were at that game, and they said it's going to be the largest college-attended game besides the College World Series. It was absolutely phenomenal, but great place, highly recommended. I think that they're having a tournament this weekend and next weekend at Globe Life Field.
Oh, that's outstanding. So was that pitch right there to get strike 3. So Noby starts things off with his second strikeout of the day.
And Noby doesn't mess around. I love his aggressiveness to really fill up that strike zone and say, hey, I'm gonna either hit my spot or just be off the plate. And you can see really froze TJ Pompey on that last fastball.
Well, brings up the 9-hitter and Carson Brumbaugh. Well inside to start him off.
I was a little bit lighter than Stonehouse, but for a freshman, big kid, 6'3", 215-pound shortstop. I think only the second freshman to ever start at shortstop for the Razorbacks in the Dave Van Horn era. So just tells you his potential. He is the preseason freshman of the year in the SEC. So he's got some early accolades for Carson Brumbaugh.
He's also got some big shoes to fill.
Yeah.
There's a swing and a miss, and it's a 1-2 count. Some might say golden.
Yeah, Golden Spikes winner and Vahiva Loy. Yeah, that's not too much pressure. And what's really neat is I think his dad played with Bubba Carpenter, who does the color analyst for the radio broadcast, I think in the Rockies organization.
Man, it is crazy how everybody is just. If you're in baseball, you probably know or are related to about 60 people.
That's right.
that
yeah.
are in it.
All the different connections.
Brumbaugh steps back in. Noby gets a swing and a miss, elevated that time for strike 3, and he's got 3 strikeouts and starts off the inning with back-to-back punch-outs, but we're back to the top of the order as Ruiz steps in.
Yeah, Arkansas with 12 strikeouts yesterday. Again, I love these Xavier pitchers with that velocity throwing up in the zone. Such a hard pitch to catch up to, but kind of that borderline, probably out of the zone, but too close to take with 2 strikes.
Ruiz takes the first one on the outside edge for a called strike, and we talked about it during that first inning where it seemed like he was trying to kind of go higher and lower in the strike zone, and he seems to have found that top part there, which is going to help him establish a little bit better.
I think so, and then just that first pitch right on the paint on the outside corner.
How about that one? Hit on the button right to short, and it's off Peters' glove and trickles into left field. So got a runner aboard here in the second inning with 2 outs. There was a 2-run rally in the first for the Hogs with 2 outs. We'll see what they can do as it gets to Nolan Souza in the order.
We're going to see how they rule this play. I think off the bat, Peters, I think, thought he was going to have it. I think it had a little hook on it. Right about here, I think he thinks he's got it, and it just tips off his glove. I think they're going to call that one a hit for Damian Ruiz.
Souza, the DH, left-handed hitter, waits. And he takes the first pitch for a strike. Well, it's a 2-0 game right now. Razorbacks got 2 in the first thanks to Camden Kojal's 2-run shot after Ryder Helfrich, who's in the on-deck circle, had reached on a single.
Ruiz with good speed at first base, but I think the Arkansas is going to keep him put with the left-handed Souza hitting it at the plate. Kind of creates a nice hole over when that first baseman's covering the bag. And Ruiz can run a little bit. Definitely might score if you see something in the gap or down the lines.
Got the third baseman Hammond pulled up over there on the left side. Townsend holding on Ruiz at first. There's a throw over, but no tag.
A little surprised that Hammond is playing so tight, especially with 2 outs. I think maybe early with 1 out or no outs, but Souza can really run, but still.
Another throw over, so they are very worried about Ruiz trying to take off and go to second with 2 outs. There's also a gaping hole on that left side because with Hammond playing up and sort of a step or 2 away from the line, you've got the shortstop Peters right up the middle.
Yeah, you saw it right there in that last shot. There's a big giant hole. Yeah, you could drive a bus through there.
It's dribbled foul over on the first base side, though.
A bus, a boat, anything, whole space there. But you're right, Hammond is really tight. Let's see with 2 strikes. Back off. He's looking in the dugout saying, okay, now he's coming off the line and kind of trying to fill up that hole just a little bit more.
You could have driven a bus sideways through that hole, Troy. I mean, that was
about 100 feet at least.
I'm guessing that the metrics say Souza's a pull hitter. Here's the 1-2. In on the hands, and he'll flip it up and out of play on the third base side. Sticks around in a 1-2 count. Ruiz, who got started on the pitch, jogs back across the diamond to first as Souza is in a little bit of a battle here.
Again, great job by Jack Noby. You talk about, you don't see a lot of college pitchers that will really work guys inside. I think they have such a fear of hitting the batter, especially with 2 strikes. But, boy, if you can pitch to both sides of the plate, because with 2 strikes, as a hitter, you're kind of leaning out over the plate a little bit more. You're trying to protect the outside corner. And you can really get a lot of punch-outs or some weak contact when you can bust them in.
Well, especially if they were playing him the way that they were before. I mean, trying to get that ball to the outside part of the plate, it could do damage. Here's the 1-2. Swing and a miss. Went up that time and gets the swinging strikeout. That's the 3rd one of the inning and the 4th one of the day for Jack Noby. It's 2-0 Arkansas as we go to the 3rd here at Baum-Walker Stadium. Really interesting to think about what this 2-0 game would look like had Xavier had really their 3 big bats. That's basically the top third of their order that have had injury issues. And we got a chance to talk to Billy O'Connor, the head coach for Xavier, about it a little bit. And he's optimistic about a lot of this, Troy, but at the same time, he recognizes it's a huge hole in the lineup.
It really is. When you've got the Big East, preseason player of the year in Connor Mish that's out, he got hit in the head during, I think, some scrimmages, and they're down at IMG Academy before they started the series in Greenville, North Carolina against East Carolina. Then you've got Clay Burdette, who is one of the guys who I think he hit 12 home runs a season ago, has an oblique strain. He did make the trip, so you might see him in the outfield, probably not to play. And then Jorge Valdez has that hamate bone. If people aren't familiar with what a hamate bone is, it's that little bone on your hand, on the outside of your hand. And I tell you what, I remember Dave a few years ago, Casey Martin got hit in the fall. And he goes, I don't get that thing removed in the fall. Just go take it out. You don't need that bone.
It's like an appendix.
Exactly.
There's a swing and a miss. That's Tanner Thomas up to the plate to start off the inning. And how about this? Already, we've just started the third. That's the first out. That is the 6th strikeout for Hunter Dietz so far.
Well, I think Matt Hobbs is right, because if he can throw strikes, he's really hard to hit. We're seeing that pretty early in this ball game.
So it's the 9-hitter, switch hitter, J.D. Crisp. And he takes a first pitch strike. Yeah, it's funny. You're like, if you're not familiar with the hamate, I don't know how you couldn't, because it's been all over baseball news this season. You've got a ton of big league guys in training camp that just have the same issue. And so it's, 4 to 6 weeks in some cases, and you're out for a while. And then even then, I mean, Troy, you would know better than I would, when your hands aren't feeling right, there's a ball whacked into center field. Long run for New, and it drops in front of him for a base hit. Second one of the day for Xavier, and they get a one-out base runner here. But how hard is it when you don't have confidence in your hands, or there's something wrong, or you're coming back? How hard is it to actually be confident in putting the bat on the ball?
Yeah, I think it does take a while. And the other factor into that, what you just said, was you got the 4 to 6 weeks. Well, you didn't pick up a bat for 4 to 6 weeks. So I think the pain is really not there. You know, sometimes, you might not have as much confidence, but I think it's just the lack of seeing live pitching that really gets to you, and that takes you a while to get over that. I mean, we talked about Nolan Souza being out in the fall with a shoulder injury, and how Arkansas was letting him hit for both teams. Instead of getting 3-4 at-bats in a day, he was getting 6 to 8 at-bats in a day, but just trying to get that repetition. You know, baseball is a lot like golf. You know, it's one of those sports that you can't just, do it every so often and expect to be good. You have to keep practicing. That's why it's so impressive when you see these guys that maybe haven't played that much or come off the bench and have success. It's very impressive to do that when you're only getting a handful of at-bats a week.
Runner on first, held on by Robinette. Here's the pitch. Dietz tries to go to the outside corner and can't get it there. And, you were talking about just how important the hands are with everything. But the funny thing is, and I didn't know this, but Billy O'Connor wising me up to it, at least in the interview that he did, that, you can still do a lot of stuff with a broken hamate.
Right.
I mean, he was talking about can still go to class. You can even lift weights, different things. It's more so the baseball activities, it almost seems like. Everyday life is maybe has some, pains at times, but, some of the other stuff that you're talking about that these guys are going through, there is none of that going on.
Yeah, when you start talking about that oblique strain with Clay Burdette, I mean, you don't want to do anything to aggravate that muscle in your back. J.D. Crisp over there, first base, great speed. I think with the left-hander on the mound, you're probably going to see him stay put. Not a bad count to go on if they did want to go right here, but he stays at first.
That is a considerable lead, especially when you're going against a lefty who's going from the stretch to have that much confidence to get. And not only that, but Robinette's he's a pretty big target over there. He's got some pretty long arms and things like that. So for Crisp to be getting the size of the lead that he is, you could tell he's got some confidence in what he can do. And there's another throw over, and he's still back in head first, so it seems as though the confidence is well founded.
Yeah, like I said, a good opportunity to try to go with 1 ball, 2 strikes. Keeps you out of the double play. He also puts a guy in a scoring position.
That's inside and hit Hammond. He'll make his way up to first base. That is the third base runner, but first time someone's gotten aboard against Dietz without a hit.
Yeah, I think that's what happened to Dietz against TCU. I think he had some free base runners, walk, hit batter. This is just a fastball that just gets away from him, up and in, and no chance right there to get out of the way for Luke Hammond.
He's caught him in that upper arm, and there's a lot of – you don't want to get hit, but if you're going to get hit, at least it's a meaty part.
Right.
Stonehouse hammers it foul down the right field line. Look at that ball go. That thing was getting away from him like it was afraid of his bat.
I think that thing ended up in Greenland down there by the old airport. Yeah, I think Dietz might want to keep the baseball away from John Stonehouse. You see the tremendous power right there. You might start seeing Ryder Helfrich sit up on that outside corner a little bit more.
Another strike, that time a swing and a miss. It is interesting because a lot of times when you see these big hitters that have a lot of power potential, they generally have a wide base underneath them.
Right.
The guys that hit a ton of homers, sometimes they don't even move their feet. He's got a very narrow stance. That's inside shoulder width for him. He swings and misses at that pitch. So a 3-pitch see ya. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night, Stonehouse. The 7th strikeout victim. And Dietz is rolling even despite the hit by pitch and the base knock.
Yeah, I think so. Another one of those cutters. And you can't walk that one and put it in the catcher's mitt at a better location than that last pitch by Hunter Dietz.
So it's Landon Mensick back up to the plate. And he swings and fouls it off. That got Helfrich's mask as it came back behind. It's a strike. And that time we saw the fastball in 94 get pumped in there. And it gets Dietz ahead in an 0-1 count.
Tell you what, Ryder Helfrich's already started taking a beating this season. Got a foul ball yesterday that he caught, and then that would knock his mask off right there. I tell you what, it's amazing how catchers can hit with all the nicks and to their hands and body back there. You talk about one of the better catchers in college baseball. That's Ryder Helfrich, and again, he's the one calling the pitches every once in a blue moon. He might get a suggestion from Matt Hobbs out of the dugout.
It was a bouncer foul. It is funny how that has sort of transitioned in the last 20 or 30 years because there was a point where, when you thought about catchers, it was Jason Varitek, Jason Kendall, Jorge Posada. They were good hitters, but they're like 280, 290
right.
hitters. And now, that offense out of that position has become just as important as the defense.
It really has. And Dietz tried to get the punch out with a high fastball. It's a great job right there by Landon Mensick to lay off of it. Seems like his go-to pitch so far for righties and lefties has been that cutter. Let's see if he doesn't try to throw into that back foot.
2-2. That's looped towards right field and in for a base hit. Here comes the throw. It's offline, and a run comes home. The ball gets behind Helfrich. And let's see here. It looks like Mensick is going to move into second base as everything's finally calmed down, but you got runners at second and third, and now it's a one-run game.
Yeah, just a great job by Landon Mensick. Got the fastball on the inside part of the plate. Just muscled that one into right field. Kahio Aloy with a great arm, but was just rushed that throw a little bit. Was way up the first base line. You can see this swing by Mensick. Inside fastball, just fought it off. Good opportunity for Kahio Aloy. He just tried to throw that about 120 miles an hour, and you can see that Helfrich tries to get back there. That ball goes to the backstop, and because of that, the batter ends up at second base.
Well, looks like we had a mound visit. That's over. Now you get a left-hander and Peter Johnson up to the plate. Still a one-run lead for the Hogs, but there's 2 out, and Xavier sending their cleanup man to the plate with ducks on the pond. Second and third, a huge opportunity here for the long, lanky left-handed hitter. Dietz misses outside for ball 1. Sounded like the crowd was pretty excited to get strike 1 there.
Yeah,
Instead, he starts out behind.
They kind of try to wish that one into the strike zone. Arkansas playing pretty straight away defensively. Looked like back-to-back cutters right there by Hunter Dietz. And first pitch was pretty close. That one definitely spiked it.
Well, the good news is for Dietz, first base is open, but obviously there's 2 outs. You'd like to get out of the inning.
Let's see if he challenges Johnson right here. Another cutter. I think Johnson was setting dead red fastball, which I would have been, and Dietz spun that cutter in there.
The 2-1. High and outside. So now it's 3-1. You're really walking a tightrope here from having the bases loaded going to the 5-hitter, which is traditionally a guy that can lay the lumber. But right now, Dietz just trying to focus on that mitt behind home plate. There's a line drive, hit the second on one hop, and that bounces out of Kojal's glove and into right field. Hammond comes home to score. So does Mensick, and it's a 2 RBI. We'll figure it out, but Johnson's aboard, and he sends 2 home, and Xavier has the lead. It's now a 3-2 game.
Yeah, I think that's got to be an E4. That's a ball that Cam Kojal, he tried to get the long hop on that baseball, and the thing he did not do is stay in front of the ball. I think if he would have, even if he backed up on that baseball, if he stays in front of it, he maybe takes it off the chest and at least saves Arkansas 1 run right there.
And that misses inside, and indeed it is an error.
But how big is that hit batter? That run comes around to score, and that's what really got Hunter Dietz in his last loss out to by TCU was just free base runners.
Well, I think that also goes to sort of what Billy O'Connor was talking about when he said the compete level with this team is really, really, really high. With 2 outs, they're able to manufacture, 3 runs here and take the lead. That 2-0 misses up, so now it's 3-0 with a runner on first.
Yeah, kind of expanding on that compete level with this Xavier ball club. That's just set by the tone and by head coach Billy O'Connor, and he talked about that a little bit in scheduling. They had like the 5th toughest schedule a season ago, and he said, I ask players, even guys he recruits, he goes, hey, we're going to go down and play teams like Arkansas, or we're going to play Louisville and play some really tough teams in the SEC, and he goes, he wants to see the reaction of players, especially, he goes, if they act like they're a little scared and don't want to have that challenge, he goes, then we don't want you on our club. And he has kind of that tough mentality, what he has his players. He got full boat right here, got the runner moving at first base, and see if Hunter Dietz can't get out of this.
Johnson takes off, the pitch misses high, and that will put Fitz on first base. Johnson can jog into second, and now it's Eddie Peters who's been, he's been very, very good at the plate so far in the early part of the season. Going back to what we were just talking about, though, I mean, it is interesting because, he basically said we want, like, a growth happens through adversity. We want as much adversity as we possibly can. So when you look at the schedule that they've put together, use that as a recruiting tool.
Absolutely. He goes, you want to go down and play at some big places like Arkansas and places in the SEC and around the country. He goes, you're going to get that opportunity. And I think that says a lot about, the players he recruits and just just the toughness of this team. This never give up. They don't ever seem like that there's panic in the dugout. They don't have a lot of team meetings in there when they're behind. They know they're going to get it done. But I tell you what I've seen out of Hunter Dietz is he's been up in the zone, and that's when he's had his issues. He was kind of pounding the bottom part of that strike zone the first few innings, and now he's not finishing those pitches. That was a much better one right there.
That one finished below the zone, and he got Peters right over top of it for the strike. But more to your point, yeah, a lot of the damage that's been done has been up in the zone. I mean, even when you think about the hit by pitch, that was about shoulder high.
Yeah, I think so.
And the 1-1 nicks the outside corner for a called strike.
Yeah, really nice cutter right there. Started off the plate. Brought that one back in, but it seems like, the fastball is really sailing on Hunter Dietz right now, so I wouldn't be surprised maybe that back foot breaking ball right here.
1-2 instead. He tried to go outside with it and just missed. And the fans in attendance not terribly happy with that decision at home plate, but it pushes the count even at 2 balls, 2 strikes with 2 outs. Southpaw trying to get out of the inning. And he gets a swing and a foul tip. So Peters hangs around on what looked like it was going to be an out pitch there. He went to the pitch you had thought maybe he'd go to one earlier, and he ends up getting a swing and a little bit of just a kiss of the bat.
Yeah, that seems like the pitch that Peters is having a little bit of issue with is that cutter almost going to that back foot breaking ball, and see if he doesn't throw it one more time.
Instead, he goes outside corner breaking ball and gets a called strike 3. That is number 8 for Hunter Dietz, but the Hogs lose the lead. It is a 3-2 game, and Xavier out in front. A 3-run inning has put Xavier on top, but Troy, the story in this one so far has been Jack Noby.
Yeah, he's been really good. You can see him really working that fastball up in the zone. It's about 92, but it's got a lot of late life and carry. And again, it's all about location. You know, he just looks like one of those guys that just knows how to pitch. And I think with like high spin rate, and it looks like Jack Noby has that, is two pitch up in the zone. You know, years past it was always like, hey, work down the zone. But I think you can have a lot of success. Hitters think they can hit that high fastball, and it just takes off on you, and it's really tough to, if you make contact, it's probably going to be a fly ball or pop up.
Yeah, you really have to, you still have to kind of get on top of it, don't you? And
That's
when it's
right.
up that high, it's tough. Yeah, Ryder Helfrich up there at the plate, and he finds himself in a 1-1 count. We mentioned now it's a 1-run deficit for the Razorbacks after Xavier put up 3 runs in the top half of the inning. And we could be talking about a different game as far as Noby goes if he doesn't find a way out of the first, because don't forget, he had the 2 outs, but then a single, a homer, a walk, and a single. Not only made it a 2-0 game at that time, but you still had some guys out there putting pressure on Noby, and he was able to get out of it with a pop-out, and now he's cruised.
Yeah, he's looked really good. And, again, I love how he just mixes up locations. There's a fastball kind of up and in. And it looks like it's a pretty straight fastball, but I think that at the end you get just enough tail to miss the barrel. And, boy, he's looked really good. Let's see Ryder Helfrich trying to slow him down. He is looking back at the pitch clock at the back behind home plate. He did not like that call right there.
And gets rung up on that pitch for strike 3 called. That's number 5 for Noby so far in the first out of the inning to bring up Camden Kojal. Kojal, a 2-run homer back in the first inning that gave the Razorbacks an early lead, and now he comes up with the bases clear and the Razorbacks trailing by a run. That ball looked like it slipped out of Noby's hand and landed a good 3 feet outside of home plate and up.
I was just about ready to say that Noby looks like he's just got on cruise control. Maybe you'll see if he does after that last pitch. That one really got away from him.
There's a swing and a miss, so he comes right back and gets the strike to even the count up. If that was cruise control, the transmission might have slipped there for a second.
I think so.
That was a tough one. But sometimes it is hard because you have to have just the right grip pressure on that ball to get it to do what you want it to do. That ball's popped up third base side, but headed for the seats and out of play. And if you don't get that pressure just right, and it's not just, I mean, when you talk to guys, it's all through the fingers, right? It's some pitches I do the fingertips. Sometimes I do the base of my fingers. Sometimes it's the palm. And if you don't have that right on the pitcher throwing, that is the result sometimes.
Yeah, it's a little bit hard. We don't have the track man up here in the booth, but
that ball is slammed high in the air to left field. Mensick on the warning track looking for it, and it drops up against the wall. Kojal around second, headed for third. Mensick picks it up and gets it into the cutoff man, but he's into third base with 1 out here in the third inning, and the Hogs down by a run for Kahio Aloy to step up.
that's going to look like a triple in the book, but I think that's a ball that Mensick almost gave up on. You see Kojal, he hits that ball. He thinks it might have a chance to get out, and the wind is really blowing, you know, from the left field foul pole over. And this ball just keeps carrying away from Mensick. You can see he thinks he's got it. It just keeps blowing that way. And, boy, the ricochet off the wall, and Kojal is standing on third base.
Aloy takes the first pitch outside to start him off in a 1-0 count. I wonder, it kind of looked like he was looking back into the sun, but he never kind of made the, I'm shielding my eyes, I can't find it. It was a very casual kind of run over looking for the ball, and then it dropped 4 feet over by the wall.
Probably the best RBI guy for the Arkansas.
There's a pop-up foul territory third base side. Hammond looking for it. He gets called off at short. Eddie Peters makes the catch, and that will be the second out of the inning.
Yeah, kind of the cardinal sin of a hitter is you, with a runner at third, 1 out or less than 2 outs, you don't want to strike out, you don't want to pop up. And Kahio Aloy just needed a sacrifice fly and just got under that one a little too much. Now it's going to be up to Reese Robinette, see if he can't pick up Camden Kojal over at third base.
2 outs. 1-run lead for Xavier. Ball through the right side for a base hit. Kojal comes around to score, and Robinette drives in his 3rd of the season on his 2nd hit of the day.
Well, Noby tried to come inside with that fastball. Great read and nice job by Reese Robinette pulling the hands inside the baseball. Watch him get the barrel head out. That's a great pitch, but boy, you can see Noby's reaction after that ball shoots through the hole. He threw it exactly where he wanted to, just a better swing by Robinette.
And that's the swing that ties the game. It's 3 apiece. Micah New digs in and takes a pitch on the outside edge for a called strike to get things rolling here. And Noby has given up 2 hits in the inning. He's also got his 5th strikeout of the game to lead off the frame. But now he's seeing his 5th hitter to the plate here as New popped out to first, steps back in. The 0-1. And that time he takes a pitch out over the plate for a called strike.
Make a nice job by Noby. Again, seems like he's one of those guys that really doesn't get, too emotional, not too high, not too low after that base hit that tied the game, but just comes right back and pumps a couple strikes and gets the punch out of Micah New.
That's a big swing and a miss right there. And it's a great pitch to end the inning, but the Razorbacks get it tied up. It's 3-3 as we go to the bottom of the 4th inning at Baum-Walker Stadium.
Hunter Dietz has been really electric on the mound. The cutter is what is really working for him. He's really burying that thing down and away. You see him tough on lefties, even throw it down in that back foot, the right-handed hitters. The fastball is still electric. It'll go 97 today, but it's that cutter that's really becoming his out pitch.
Yeah, Dietz has been outstanding so far. As a matter of fact, he's up to 8 strikeouts on the day. And Tommy Townsend steps in and takes the first pitch for ball 1. But during that last half inning, sort of got rattled a little bit there, gave up a couple hits. There was an error, a hit batsman, a walk. It yielded 3 runs, and we've got a 3-3 game now. So you get to the top half of the 4th inning. It's a 1-0 count. And, yesterday we talked about, in the home opener, Arkansas was out hit in that game, but they ended up winning because of the key hits in the key spots.
Yeah, timely hitting for Arkansas. And speaking of timely hitting, that's a base hit right there by Tommy Townsend.
Tapped it right through the left side.
Tell you what, that's what you want to do is, as an offense, you get scored upon, you want to come back and score and answer right back, and you have to start somewhere, and getting that leadoff guy on is so big.
Well, that's exactly what they do, and well, not only that, but Thomas, that's his first hit of the season. He struck out his first time up, and that was Townsend. Thomas is up looking for his first hit of the season, and the first one misses high and outside.
I think I only have 1 ground ball recorded by Hunter Dietz, so he's looking for that pitcher's best friend, a double play ground ball, but he's only given up 1 on the ground. A lot of punch outs.
Oh, there's a line drive into right center, down for a base hit. Townsend round second, headed for third. The throw splits the runners and goes to second. And now with nobody out, there's runners at first and second, and it brings up J.D. Crisp, who's 1 for 1 today.
Well, I think Townsend made it to third base. He had a quick, good, nice turn. The ball was hit so soft out to right field that he went from first to third. Now they've got runners on the corners to do the Musketeers. Arkansas does have a left-hander, Parker Coyle, down in the bullpen, and you might see him pretty quickly if Dietz can't get out of this jam.
There's a swing and a miss to start Crisp off, who's hitting .381 so far. He's also got 2 home runs out of that 9-hole, and we saw earlier he's got quite a bit of speed as well, so he can kind of do a little bit of everything here, at least in the early going.
Yeah, he sure can. He's been a big surprise for Billy O'Connor and the Musketeers. Dietz looking for a strikeout right here. Arkansas is going to concede the run to get a double play. They're going to play outs for a run right here in the top of the 4th. It's a good look at Parker Coyle.
1-1, swing and a miss. And you're in an even better spot if Dietz can bounce back here and, find a way to get a strikeout or some type of simple out here without a run coming home.
Well, we've seen him get a lot of strikeouts, like you said, 8 so far, and this would be a big one.
1-2, swing and a miss. He gets him there, And that is strike 3, number 9 on the day for Hunter Dietz. The order rolls over. It's still a sticky situation with runners at the corners and 1 out. But Dietz 1/3 of the way through getting through this inning.
I think a lot of times pitching coaches want to see what their pitchers are made out of, and great job by Ryder Helfrich. Doesn't try to catch that ball, just smothers it, really covers up that hole between his legs, so no place for that baseball to scoot through. And that's so big. If you're a pitcher and you've got a catcher that has got the ability to
dribbler to third, backhanded on the line. Pompey over to first base. It's in time, and that's a nice play. But the run from third base does come home to score, and that puts Xavier back out in front 4-3.
Yeah, the play that Pompey had to make right there was no chance to get that runner at home. But I was talking about Dietz having the ability to bury that pitch in the dirt, the pitch to the batter before. But great play by T.J. Pompey. Is it going to be a decision? Was Pompey going to play short and Brombaugh at third, or Brombaugh at short, Pompey at third? And so looks like this is the way that Pompey at third base has settled in nicely.
You got Stonehouse up there, the big fella, left-handed hitter at the plate, swings through that pitch after, well, he struck out twice. He was the first strikeout victim of the day for Dietz, and then he was the 7th. That one, he was up there on 3 straight pitches, and now he's headed over to the third base side to have a quick chat with the coaches.
Fans not really happy. I think this is one of those offensive timeouts that is more to slow Hunter Dietz down than it is to really have a lot of conversation to Stonehouse. But he's probably telling him that, hey, he's been getting you on breaking balls down and away, so you need to think about trying to shoot something out to left field.
Well, let's see what he decides to do here. Obviously, we talked about the wind, the way it's blowing out to right field, and with him being a left-handed hitter, it's certainly tempting to try and go for broke down that side.
Dietz, this is going to be pitch 84.
On the ground to first. 2 hops. Robinette has it, takes it to the bag himself, and that puts an end to the inning. So, Razorbacks still trail 4-3 as we go to the bottom half of the 4th inning. It's a 4-3 Xavier lead as we go to the bottom half of the 4th inning. And, well, Troy, it's been a pretty interesting game so far. A little bit of back and forth.
Yeah, I'll tell you the interesting thing is, Nobi, you see him at the top of the screen right there. This is going to be pitch number 54. Hunter Dietz is in the mid-80s, so been very economical has been Jack Nobi. But I'll tell you the thing that's been so good about him, the first pitch, he is getting first pitch strike, I'd say 80% of the time. It looks like he usually goes away from those hitters.
And first pitch of the inning gets a swing and a miss. So it's a 1-run game, and now the hit column has actually been a little bit closer, 6-5. But Xavier's still holding on to that lead.
Those are back-to-back 88-mile-an-hour fastball, Jack Nobi, but those are pitches that TJ Pompey, should be able to catch up to. And again, I think that Nobi's got a lot of carry on that fastball, and it just stays on plane. It's hard to get on top of.
And misses down and away with that pitch, and we have seen a home run today hit off of Nobi. That was Camden Kojal back in the first inning. Outside of that, though, the ball, we've seen some balls that have been ripped, but nothing that's been elevated and carried, I think, in that fashion.
Yeah, I think so. And props to him. It's just his ability to move the ball around the plate, the whole strike zone, just really filling it up.
1-2. Misses low and away, so that'll drive that pitch count up a little bit more. As Troy said, 53 to start the inning, and so that's really, at this point, maybe the Razorbacks' job at the plate is just have quality at bats, see as many as you can, get this guy deep into the game early. Swing and a miss there. He gets another strikeout, though. He's piled them up to 7, and there has been a lot of that today.
They really has. This Arkansas team has a little bit of an Achilles heel for strikeouts. Again, a fastball up in the zone. Pompey just a little bit late. And again, Jack Nobi, he's just a guy that's going out there and just being real aggressive, getting ahead in the count and pitching ahead. You've rarely seen him pitch from behind, and I think he had one walk to Kahio Aloy.
Gets a foul ball right there from Carson Brumbaugh, the 9-hitter. I mean, both sides, we've seen some guys go up there, and when the pitches are working the way they're supposed to, it's a long day.
It's funny, you think as a hitter, you see the wind blowing out. You think, okay, or even an announcer like ourselves, and think, okay, it's going to be a high-scoring game. And both these pitchers have, for the most part, kept this game in check. If I'd have been a betting man, I'd say how much. You see the flag right there really blowing out to right field. I'd say there probably being 3 or 4 or 5 home runs hit by now.
Yeah, that time he throws a breaker that misses low and away.
Get deep in the outfield for the Musketeers with that wind blowing. Anything up in the air is going to carry out to right field. You can see the ball that Minsick missed out there in left center. It's a good take by Carson Brombaugh, but that wind really pushed that ball away from him.
Yeah, and I think that was, looking back on it, that particular play, the wind is blowing just enough where that ball is kind of going to float away from you up the track. That misses outside as well. So now it's a 3-ball, 2-strike count here to Brombaugh to the 9-hole. But yeah, that wind, it can seriously benefit you to right. It can really hurt you to left or even center field if you don't kind of have the shape going right. A line drive to first, but Townsend catches it on a knee, and the backhand stab gets the second out of the inning. Order flips over. Here comes Damien Ruiz.
Again, just a great pitch by Jack Noby. It's a fastball, probably maybe a little off the plate, but on that outside corner, that's a good piece of hitting by Carson Brombaugh, but just hit him one of those atom balls right at the first baseman.
Yeah, that one goes down in the internal metrics a little bit different. It's a good swing, opposite, going that way. And that pitch misses outside. And, sometimes it's you're not going to exactly get what you want out of it, right?
A lot of respect for Damien Ruiz's speed. Look, basemen are playing way in.
1-0 misses outside.
A little surprised, especially the first baseman playing that tight over at first.
Especially with the overshift.
Yeah, you've got 3 infielders on the left side of second base, and with him playing so far in, there's a huge hole on the right side.
And that time he gets a strike on the outside part of the plate. Not quite the corner, but certainly a tough pitch to get to. Yeah, it's certainly a unique setup that they have going here. Now the third baseman, Hammond, has moved back a bit. 2-1, boxed up there, first strike. Now you're starting to see Townsend move back with the 2-strike count. Ruiz passes the bat through the zone a couple of times. A 4-3 game. Xavier out in front. Noby gets a check swing. Did he go? Yes, he did. On appeal down to first. Ben Levin punches him out. And that is the end of the inning. A 1-2-3 frame here in the fourth. Xavier still leads by a run at Baum-Walker Stadium in Fayetteville, Arkansas. After 4 innings of work, Hunter Dietz is out of the game. Parker Coyle, the senior, is on here to start this top half of the 5th inning.
Yeah, I see the left-hander out of Edmond, Oklahoma. Coyle could have gone pro a season ago. Had a long conversation. Matt Hobbs and Dave Van Horn really got in his ear and said, man, we would really love to have you back in Fayetteville. And he felt like he can really contribute to this team, so he decided to forgo professional baseball and throw another year for the Hogs. But, really good stuff out of Coyle. He's just kind of one of those crafty lefties. He'll hit 90-91 with a fastball. Really good breaking ball, and again, a guy that can fill up the strike zone. You know what you're going to get, just consistency out of Parker Coyle.
Well, and it comes into a game where the Razorbacks really need him to get some outs here. They're down by a run, and we've seen today, and not only that, but yesterday, Xavier, they may be shorthanded as far as their position players and their top-tier bats. They have not given up an inch here today.
No, they really haven't. Very scrappy at-bats. I think they've been aggressive when pitches have been in the strike zone. And I give a lot of credit to their team and just their approach against Hunter Dietz. Dietz did have, quite a few strikeouts, but again, a team that just battled, and you just never felt like that they had the feeling of, they're ever out of a ball game. You feel like I've watched them several times on TV and before this weekend, and boy, just a really scrappy team. And it goes back to that, tough attitude that Billy O'Connor, the head coach, just kind of sets and instills in his program.
Coyle set, the lefty. Gets a first strike to start off the day, and if you're on coming out of the bullpen, that's something that you love to see as a relieving pitcher. First pitch is boxed.
Yeah, really good spin rate out of Coyle, over almost 2,800.
And he gets a swing and a miss on the next one to go up 0-2 here against Landon Mensick.
I don't think you have to worry about the pitch clock. You get 20 seconds in between pitches, and Coyle, for the most part, he is ready to go.
The 0-2. Swing and a miss, and he comes in. His first 3 pitches land, and he's got a strikeout to start things off. Parker Coyle gets the Razorbacks' 10th strikeout of the game on the mound, and now he's set to face Peter Johnson out of the 4-hole.
Yeah, really good cutter right there by Parker Coyle. And, Sean, don't tell me that players don't have superstition, because if we might have to zoom in on Parker Coyle's hat. I saw him walking through the lobby last weekend at the hotel down at Globe Life Field, and let's see, he's got a few sweat stains still on that hat. He hasn't gotten a new hat this year. So there you go. That's a good look at the sweat stains right there by the hat by Parker Coyle. And he's like, hey, if I have success, I'm going to ride this one out.
That's all salt and dirt right there. That kid's drinking a lot of water during these games. There's an 0-2 count now against Johnson. And, well, again, it's kind of like what we were saying about Koschler. You can call me whatever you want if I'm going to keep hitting the ball out. If I'm going to come in and, be able to do what he's done. There's strike 3, inside corner, painted that time, and Coyle gets back-to-back strikeouts to start off the 5th. Jonathan Fitz headed up to the plate. He's 1 for 1 today, walked his last time up. He's also singled. Xavier leads at 4-3. Bases are clear with 2 outs. And, well, just as soon as Fitz got into the plate, he heads back over toward the dugout to have a chat with, I believe, Billy O'Connor right there.
You can hear some boos out of the crowd here at Baum-Walker Stadium. Just O'Connor really trying to slow the pace of Parker Coyle down. You can tell he's one of those guys that just gets on a roll, and they're kind of talking about what Coyle throws, and I think that's more, again, a conversation saying sometimes the coach might even tell you what he's doing. It's like, hey, I'm not really going to tell you anything. I'm just going to slow this guy down.
So with 2 outs, Coyle ready to face Fitz. He swings and hits it up and out of play on the right side for strike 1. Now Coyle has thrown a grand total of 7 pitches, and now home plate umpire James Ainsworth is meeting Coyle halfway between the mound and home plate. Friendly conversation.
I tell you what I think that conversation is. It is, the rules are that the pitcher's not supposed to start their motion until the hitter is in ready position, which means your hands are up and your eyes are on the pitcher. And sometimes Parker Coyle will get going a little too fast, and so it's a safety thing.
Well, whatever he does, it's working. That one gets the inside corner. Not only that, but up. That is a really tough pitch to hit.
It's like he's throwing a wiffle ball up there.
Here's the 0-2. A swing and a bouncer third base side, but wide of the bag and foul. And wouldn't you know, Xavier's got someone up in the bullpen as well.
Yeah, they do.
Back in. Right-handed hitter waits. It's the lefty. 0-2. Dribbler third base side, foul again. He's really trying to work that inside part of the plate.
Really good job by Fitz to really spoil a pitcher's pitch down and in. Last 2 pitches, that's where they've been. Let's see if Coyle goes back to it or he tries to move away.
0-2. Another chopper, this time to short. Brumbaugh has it, throws to first, and it's in time. A 1-2-3 inning for Parker Coyle, the senior. 2 strikeouts, and it's a 4-3 game. Xavier still has the lead out here at Baum-Walker Stadium. It's the second game of the opening homestand for the Arkansas Razorbacks, and they trailed to Xavier 4-3. We had some great outings from the starting pitchers in this ball game, and as we get to the 5th, Xavier is still holding on to that 4-3 edge. We saw somebody warming up during the last half inning for Xavier in the bullpen, but they've sent Jack Noby back out there for another inning of work, and why not?
Yeah, I think they're going to keep trying to ride that horse as long as they can. You can see his pitch count is right at 70. I think right now you might even see, then let him go maybe 90 pitches. A lot of those pitchers this time of the year have kind of built up to about 90 pitches. That's what Matt Hobbs said for the Arkansas pitchers. Hunter Dietz went close to that. So, again, with Noby's success and his ability to get outs, and he really hasn't had a lot of pressure situations. And it's funny how that really has an impact on, how many pitches a guy can go. Does it feel like you have a lot of high leverage pitches, or is it, you're just kind of in cruise control? And that's what, like we said with Noby so far in this game, he just kind of had it in cruise. He's in that left lane hammer down.
There's a fly ball to left field. Souza busting it up the line, but Mensick is there, and he makes the catch in left field for the first out of the inning. That brings up Ryder Helfrich, and yeah, I mean, it really hasn't even looked like hammered down. That first pitch he threw was a changeup that was just a hair off the plate, and then he comes right back and goes middle with it and gets the out.
Yeah, and again, the fastball is not electric. It's not in the upper 90s, but again, with really good location and carry.
That ball's hammered to left field. Mensick back, no chance. That's up and out, and we're tied again. Ryder Helfrich with his 3rd of this season. It's the 2nd of the game for the Razorbacks, and it's 4-4 in the 5th.
Swing right there by Ryder Helfrich. Again, he hit home runs in the preseason spring. His first couple at bats of the season home runs. This is just a rocket that gets out. Not a bad pitch, down about knee level. And again, Helfrich really busted it. It was such a low line drive. You didn't know if it was going to clear the fence or not, but well into the hog pen, and that might do it for Jack Noby. And he has thrown a great ball game along with the starting pitchers for Xavier so far this weekend. It was Ryan Peach who was really spot on Friday night. He got the loss to Gabe Gackle, but they're going to bring in a right-hander here, Sean.
Yeah, you've got everybody out there on the mound. They're the meeting of the minds, waiting for the right-hander to come out of the bullpen. But it's a 4-4 game now after the homer. Xavier goes, and the 6'2", 280-pound right-handed senior Carter Muck is on here with the bases clear, the line final on his predecessor.
Okay, Carter Muck out of Parkville, Missouri. I'm probably one of the few people in this stadium that know where Parkville, Missouri is, because it's about a mile from where I grew up. So a Kansas City native is Carter Muck. He's going to sit, he's got a live arm. He's going to sit in the low 90s, 91 and 94 with that fastball. He'll throw a slider and a changeup as well. Really quick to the plate, so you're not going to see many people try to steal off of Muck. And again, kind of that 3/4 release, and has a lot of success against left-handers. See him get a lot of ground balls when he's on.
Well, he takes over for Noby, who went 4 1/3 with 4 runs and 7 hits, a walk, and 8 strikeouts. And the first one to Kozel gets popped into center field. A high pop-up. Chris coming in. He waits on it, and he has it for the second out of the inning. First one for Muck, though. And so it brings up Kahio Aloy.
Kind of some soft contact right there on a breaking ball that was left up in the zone. And sometimes it's almost better to hang a breaking ball, especially if it's really high, because you're going to get that pop-up. And, I think draw by Carter Muck at that last pitch.
It's kind of like golf. It's your misses are.
That's right.
First one to Aloy, misses low. And we've seen that today where we were talking about the homer right before Noby came out, and it was a lower pitch, still out over the middle of the plate, and Helfrich able to get the barrel out on it and drive it.
Had some good arm extension right there. Exactly right, Sean.
And not only that, but we keep talking about this wind, and I know it probably sounds like we're beating a dead horse here, but at the same time, it's like that really does provide kind of an elevated wall out there, so you have to hit it hard to get it through that wind.
Talking about a guy that can hit it hard, that's Kahil Aloy right here.
And he does. High fly ball deep to left field. Mensick at the track, at the wall, gone. Another home run in the 5th. This time it's Aloy, and he makes it a 5-4 Razorback lead.
Well, sometimes you need your key players to come up big, and you've got a couple upperclassmen and Ryder Helfrich and Kahil Aloy that deliver for the Arkansas Razorbacks, and you can tell put a lot of life back in this crowd. You can talk about a guy with a moonshot. That is a ball that's just hit almost straight up 386 feet on that one.
Reese Robinette in at the plate. He takes a big cut and fouls it up and out of play. The thing about that swing that Aloy took for me is that, he got his hips open so fast and stayed on his backside. There was nowhere but up that ball was going to go.
Yeah, launch angle is not an issue for Kahil Aloy.
0-1 misses a little bit high. Well, it certainly wasn't on that one. He hit that at the perfect launch and the perfect speed to be able to hit it through the wind there to left field. We've seen 2 go out now to that direction.
How about 96 on that last fastball by Carter Muck? And then he comes back with a dart, a cutter down and in. If you're Reese Robinette, you look at the board and you're like, 96, I got to start a little bit quicker. And then he throws a slider down and in, looks like a dagger.
They get you in the blender when they start doing that stuff. Here's the 1-2. Swinging a fly ball, left field. Mensick coming in on it, and he makes the catch. Boy, that one nearly drifted away from him, but he's able to make it and end the inning, but not before the Razorbacks take the lead with a pair of home runs. To 4, and right now the overarching story that we have is the momentum change in this one. And there you could see, Parker Coyle was 11 for 11 pitches for strikes, but the momentum swing has been a huge thing here.
Yeah, I think so. When Coyle enters the game, Arkansas's down a run, and you could see that there really wasn't a lot of buzz here at Baum-Walker Stadium. And then Coyle goes 1, 2, 3, like you said, 11 pitches, all in the zone. And then you have, a couple of your leaders of this team, Ryder Helfrich, Kahil Aloy, go hit a pair of home runs. And again, it's just a different feel after one inning of play. You really didn't let Xavier have a lot of time to have that lead.
It was a bouncer hit to second. Koschel up with it and over to first. That's in time for the out. There's one away here for Coyle, who has seen 4 hitters and retired all of them.
Again, you got to love when you've got a guy with the different types of pitches that Parker Coyle throws and just the ability to fill up the strike zone.
Well, this is not filling up the strike zone. This is just owning the strike zone. First pitch to Tommy Townsend. He takes a big swing and comes up empty right there for strike 1.
But again, even the fastball at 87 has a lot of ride and carry to it.
0-1. Time misses just a little down and away, it looked like. Evens it up 1-1.
Arkansas wanted to pitch Parker Coyle last year in the College World Series, and he kind of had a little bit of some back issues. And if you remember, he didn't throw last season in Omaha. And you have a guy that can have so much success like Parker Coyle can. That was kind of a big blow to the Hogs. And Arkansas is going to move T.J. Pompey over from third base to play on the right side of second base with left-hand hitting Townsend.
And 1-2 inside part of the plate for called strike 3. Just got him looking and fooled right there, and Townsend walks away shaking his head.
Yeah, again, that's the pitch. It starts out, it is right hip, and then it ends up over the dish. You know, you're thinking as a hitter, it's almost like a fastball that's up in the zone, but that pitch, it's so far in, you're going, there's no way that I'm gonna swing at that baseball, and then there's so much horizontal break on it. I think the hitters just kind of give up on that pitch too early.
Lost in how good that pitch was to get the strikeout. That's also a dozen on the day for Razorbacks pitching. And the 0-1 fouled off, and Helfrich takes another one. That one got fouled right back to it. It sounded like it hit the chest protector maybe, but that's the tough part. You can't really tell where anything hits from behind home plate. We got a great view of the field, but if you want to see anything that's happening behind an object, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, it's pretty tough. Might have caught him on the mask a little bit, but again, shocker, Coyle's 0-2.
Breaking ball, hit to short. Brombach up with it, over to first. In time, a good stretch over there by Robinette to close out the inning. And so, Razorbacks protecting a one-run lead as we go in of the 6th. Carter Muck is back on the mound. The Razorbacks have a 5-4 lead over Xavier, and we've had a lot of back and forth today. There's been some long balls. There's been some good pitching. Troy, what has stood out the most to you so far today?
Yeah, I think that the number of strikeouts, a lot of times early in the season, you see pitching kind of ahead of hitting, and that's what we're seeing right here. We're not taking anything away from the pitchers on both sides of this game, but a lot of punch-outs in this game, and you just don't see that later on in the season, at least to this level.
First pitch to Micah New, and he got himself a shave here.
That was close. That had a lot of run to that fastball. It was a 91, and that thing started in and it just kept riding in on Micah New. I'm not sure how he got out of the way of that one.
Yeah, I don't know either. Honestly, that one came pretty far in. And he stays in on that one and takes a swing, but the fastball gets by him for a strike, so it's evened up a ball and a strike. New 0 for 2 so far today, popped out to third back in the first inning, and then he struck out to end the third inning, so this is the first time he's coming up as the leadoff man in a frame. Time of fastball, so we're starting to see, that one was 95 right there, and you had said earlier, that him touching 5s and 6s, 95, 96 is pretty impressive.
Yeah, definitely a live arm out of Carter Mock. New in the driver's seat right here. New's really one of those fast twitch guys. I think he's going to be a fan favorite here this year, but he can really run, very athletic.
3-1 misses down, and he's going to get a chance here because he's headed up to first base with a free pass. Just the second one issued so far today to Razorback hitters, but it comes in an important spot. The leadoff man is aboard in the 6th.
Yeah, that was a really good take. You're 3-1. If you're Micah New, you haven't had a hit as a Razorback, at least at home. You're probably a little extra antsy, but to be able to take that breaking ball and draw the walk, that was a upperclassman move right there. I really like that I can do.
Runner takes off. The pitch is in for a strike. Not in near enough time, though. Stolen base for Micah New. That's his first of the year, and he gets on and turns a walk into a 2-base effort.
Yeah, really good jump right there. Muck's really fast to the plate. He's about 1-1 or 1-2. That ball is just on the third base side and a little bit short by Fitz, the catcher. I think New had that one stolen anyway.
Got a great jump.
Now TJ Pompey's job is to try to move that runner to third base, try to hit something to the right side.
Dribbles it foul on the back side of the left part of the plate. And so it's an 0-2 count here to Pompey. It's 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts, but as Troy just alluded to, everybody plays a part in this. That's why there's 9 guys in the lineup.
Absolutely. And that's a good job by Carter Muck and Fitz, the catcher, they know what Pompey's trying to do. So they're just trying to pound him in. They're not letting him shoot that ball to the right side. They said, hey, if you're going to beat us, you're going to beat us with, maybe a weak ground ball to shortstop.
1-2. Misses in the dirt, gets away from Fitz. New moves up to third base on what should be a wild pitch, I would guess. And, well, now the job changes, doesn't it?
Yeah, you just got to just make some contact. Arkansas has got an opportunity to get an RBI right here, and Xavier is going to bring the infield in. They're going to be in all the way around.
2-2. Taken high. Pushes it to 3-2. Not only that, but the outfield, they were already playing deep with the wind. They've moved back a little bit more. They don't want somebody getting into scoring position if that ball gets out there.
Yeah, the outfield's still deep, infield in. It's just the 6th inning, but you feel like that the Musketeers want to try to let this one, it's going to hop through for a base hit by T.J. Pompey.
It's into left, and here comes New to score. And now it's a 2-run lead for the Razorbacks after that fastball ended up coming off the bat and placed perfectly through the left side.
That's a really quality at bat right there by T.J. Pompey, because he was down 0-2, took a couple borderline pitches, evened up the count in 2-2, and with that infield drawn in, all he had to do is pretty much just find a hole, put that ball in play. You can't strike out and you can't pop up. And again, outside fastball, not a bad pitch by Muck. And New just walks in.
Throw over to first base wasn't in time, and the ball rolled halfway back to the mound, coming out of the glove of Tommy Townsend right there. So everybody will reset. And not only that, but you think about that at bat, Troy, and they were really going inside with those fastballs to Pompey. That was one of the only pitches he saw out away from him, and he was still able to get the bat to the ball and I don't know if be prepared for it, but certainly be able to execute it.
I think a lot of people, it's very easy to second guess coaches. I think that ball by Pompey might still even get through the hole, even if the infield was back. Just it kind of had that seeing eye single right there in that 6 hole between the short and third baseman.
Another throw over to first base. You've got Pompey over there looking for a way to get in a scoring position, and still nobody out either. The third baseman, Hammond, playing near the line and creeping toward home plate just on the infield dirt. The pitch. Inside corner for a called strike.
You've got Fitz, who's pretty quick to the plate. I know that Micah New stole second base. Fitz can really get the ball down to second base in a hurry, and Muckcher is probably 1-1, 1-2 to the plate with a really good pickoff move as well. I think if I'm Dave Van Horn, with the way this wind's blowing out, I'm going to maybe try to not run myself out of a big inning. I think Arkansas would like to get a really big cricket number right here.
Wow, unbelievable pickoff move. The throw was offline a little bit, and Townsend left the bag and got the tag down.
I think DVH is going to want a video review of this one.
He's standing over on the side there, just put his hands to his ears, so that's sounding like it's right. But Troy, yeah, I mean, that's an athletic move by the first baseman to get that tag on him, regardless of what the outcome is here.
That's going to be really hard to overturn. The question is, when did that glove reach the back of T.J. Pompey? Because the baseball got there in plenty of time. I mean, you talk about putting it right on the money, and that's the one that Coach Van Horn had to look over at first base coach Hudson Polk and say, hey, was he safe? And the first move by Hudson Polk was, yeah, he's safe. So the coach in the dugout's got to rely on the eyes of the first base coach in that situation.
And not only that, but it's a bang-bang play for us up here, even with looking at it on the replay. They don't have that advantage. So your first base coach has to be locked in on that play. And if he says yes, I think it's really tough to say yes in that situation, because you also have to depend on, do you have the angle that confirms what you saw?
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And I like Brett's term. He calls after the reviews the pit of confusion. So let's see it again. Again, perfect placement, but like Townsend, his ability to catch that ball, he's on one foot. Is that tag on his back? I think he's going to be out. I just can't see where that is going to be overturned.
And I think that's the important thing is they don't even have to say, yes, 100% he was out. It just needs to be muddy enough for them not to be able to overturn it.
It's a call confirmed. Taking a long look at it. So to me, the longer they take, I think the chance of that they might reverse this call, because if it's usually definitive, then they're gonna roll with it. But I think Carter Muck's throwing a half inning or more in his warm-up pitches. He's even done. He's like, I think I'm going to stop throwing. I'm going to keep a little in the tank.
And not only that, we didn't even get to the part here where if this stands the way it is, this could be another one of those momentum hooks that we've talked about where all of a sudden, you get that pickoff at first base, you get the out, and now you're sitting there going, okay, we can just focus on the hitter. We don't have to worry about hit and run and hit. We don't have to worry about bunts moving guys over or anything like that. We could just focus on the guy at the plate.
I think so. And even though it's just still just a one-run game, but it does kind of feel like a pivotal call. It's Arkansas has definitely taken that momentum, and we talked about that earlier. And then, but this might be one of those ones that you kind of slow that Arkansas momentum down if it's for Xavier. They would love to see that kind of hold as an out.
The longer this goes as well, as get another look at it here, Troy.
Is a hand on the base.
Is the glove on the jersey?
Yeah, that's really the million-dollar question.
I was going to say, you know who may suffer the most out of this long layover? Muck.
Yeah. We should have kept a stopwatch. Let's see what we got here.
So there you go. The out stands, and now we get to see what that momentum shift looks like because, again, that's a huge play in that situation to walk and give up a hit and then to be able to erase that second base runner.
Yeah, I think so. Hogs up 6-4, and they've pounded out 9 hits. They do have a pair of errors on the day.
1-1. On the ground towards short. Peters up with it. Sidearms it, and that is in time to first base for the second out of the inning. So a pickoff and then a 6-3 rolls the order over, and here comes Damian Ruiz again.
I think they're going to have a pinch hitter. Looks like Christian Turner is going to come in and pinch hit for Ruiz. Turner's got some really good speed. He can really go if he hits one in the gap. I think he's around a 6'4", 60 guy.
And the first pitch to him gets in for a called strike. So Turner, 167 so far early on in the year. He's got a pair of walks to go along with his hit. He's also scored 2 runs, so obviously you could tell in the early going when he gets on base, he's an important part of the offense. And Steady dribbles it through the left side, stays down on it, and just pokes it through that big gap. And right back at it, Arkansas has a base runner. Second hit out of the leadoff spot today, and this time Turner's the benefactor of it. It brings up Nolan Souza, still with 2 outs though.
This is a tough place if you're Dave Van Horn. Do you want to try to steal Christian Turner, or do you want to leave him at first base and let Nolan Souza have a big hole to hit through over there?
There's a spin and a throw over to first, but that's not in time, so Turner gets back in head first and safely ahead of it.
Arkansas has already seen that Carter Muck's got a really good pickoff move, so might see him be a little bit closer to first base.
And that pitch to Souza misses a bit outside there. Kind of faded away from him and makes it a 1-0 count. Yeah, and you can even see on that first lead that Turner took, there's sort of that normal path over there in front of the base, and then there's that little bit extra that the fast guys are getting to, and he's sort of staying in that normal lead. As that one clips the outside corner.
Really good pitcher's pitch right there by Carter Muck. Souza was wanting to see something a little more down the middle. And then kind of caught that outer third.
1-1. Down and in. That one bounces up and actually hits Souza on the back. And Turner, a late break, moves up to second base on a little bit of confusion. That ball was a little bit of a dirt ball, and it ends up costing Xavier an extra base with the runner on.
Yeah, Christian Turner got a late break on that as well, too. But I think Nolan Souza does a good job of just staying put in the batter's box, and I think his body was blocking Fitz, and Fitz didn't know where the baseball was. And so Carter Muck had to come down off the mound to come get it.
Souza waits. And takes a pitch on the outside edge that time. They're going after the top part of the strike zone, and that one was placed perfectly in that upper outside corner.
I think that was a pitch that Nolan Souza gave up on a little early.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Turner gets his lead at second with 2 out. And got him looking. 94 dotted, and it's the 3rd out of the frame. But the Razorbacks still have a lead. It's 6-4 as we head into the 7th inning in Fayetteville, Arkansas. 6-4 Razorbacks leading Xavier as we go to the top half of the 7th inning. And speaking of scores, why don't we take a look around the league? And, well, you got LSU up winning 9-4 earlier today. Some of those games in the latter stages, some of them in the earlier ones, though, Troy. And, yeah, you've got a lot of, you know, those SEC teams that are sort of on the winning side right now.
Yeah, I think so. You know, it's just in the 4th inning. You know, UPenn up a run on A&M. There's plenty of baseball to be played down there in College Station, so I don't think there's any panic of the Aggie faithful.
And J.D. Crisp up to the plate to start things off, top half of the 7th inning.
Shocker. Parker Coyle throws first pitch strike.
Yeah, he's been in and around it today for sure.
Don't fall out of your chair, Sean.
I wouldn't dream of it. 0-1 lifted high in the air to center field. New moving over, reaches up and makes the catch. The one away.
I mean, that was the ball that J.D. Crisp just kind of flipped out into the outfield. It kind of caught it on the end of the bat. He hit that ball about 385 feet out to Micah New in center field, but you can really tell how that baseball carries up in this jet stream.
And Coyle has been extremely impressive so far, and certainly that fly ball will help you out. A little scary there for a moment. Maybe you hold your breath when it comes off the bat. Luke Hammond takes the first swing and connects with it, but fouls it off at the plate. So the guy out of the one hole so far 0 for 2. He's hit by a pitch back in the 3rd inning, but eventually came around to score. So in a 6-4 game, Razorbacks have 10 hits. Xavier sitting on 5 right now, and they haven't had one since the 4th. There's a looper right center field. New chasing after it toward the alley. Makes the catch on the run. 2 away.
Micah New hasn't had much activity so far in this ball game, and back-to-back balls his way makes them both look easy. Just continues to fill up the strike zone. I mean, he is one guy, like I said, you know what you're going to get out of Parker Cole. If you're playing defense, you got to love it because you're going to be on your toes. He pitches quick, and he throws a lot of strikes.
That's in for, well, another strike, and he has thrown a lot of strikes.
Yes.
That was number 23, I have it on the day.
That's a lot.
He's thrown 25 pitches, Troy. That ball is raked into high right field. Back it goes and gone. That clears the wall, up and out. And Josh Stonehouse brings Xavier in within a run.
I believe that might be number 4 for Josh Stonehouse in home runs on the season. And the young freshman just turned one around to Parker Coyle. I think that was a breaking ball that was left up in the zone. And, boy, when you got a frame like 6'1", 230 like John Stonehouse, really got his arms extended. You could see the second he hit that baseball, you knew Parker Coyle knew it was gone. No chance for Keo Aloy. Like you said, now it's a one-run game. This game has had a lot of momentum shifts, and you kind of feel the crowd really got quiet. Now they're kind of on their hands a little bit.
It's a very strange kind of system that's going on in this game right now. There's an attempt to check swing, but he goes around, so Mensick in an 0-2 count. But it's been home runs that have done a lot of momentum change. I mean, you could even, maybe this particular one, you could go back to that pickoff move that we were talking about that really sort of reset the tone during that half inning.
That's right.
I mean, you went from potentially there being a, you get one on and sometimes things sort of pile up like a snowball down a hill.
That's right. Yeah, you're exactly right. And the momentum shift, that's got a chance.
That's blasted in the air to left field. And that is gone as well. Out into the seats beyond the bullpen, and we are tied on back-to-back home runs in the 7th inning from Xavier. This time, Mensick goes deep. That's his 3rd of the year and 2nd hit of the game.
Well, Sean, we talked so much about the injuries that Xavier has seen with their top 3 hitters in this lineup, but these are the guys that really needed to step up with some of those big names being out. That's John Stonehouse, Landon Mensick. He caught that one. He knew he hit that one a long ways. About 104, 410 feet off the bat of Landon Mensick.
Peter Johnson swings and fouls it off down the left field line. And not only that, but did you happen to notice where that pitch was?
Up in the zone. Yeah, that's another ball that you knew that Parker Coyle was really hitting the spots, really working the breaking ball down in the zone, but a couple hangers and got banged.
So now Coyle misses, not something we're used to saying here today. 1-1 count. And honestly, some of the miss might be intentional after giving up back-to-back homers. There he tries to get a swing and a miss, and he gets a check swing, goes around for a strike. That was at the very bottom of the strike zone. That was a tough pitch to lay off of and almost impossible to hit.
Yeah, you might see Parker Coyle bury one in the dirt right here.
1-2. Swing and a miss. And he does. He goes below the zone and gets the swinging strikeout for the final out of the inning. But 2 home runs tie it up. It's a 6-6 game as we've hit the stretch here at Baum-Walker Stadium.
Arkansas is up 6-4, but how about back-to-back home runs? The first one by the big thumper John Stonehouse, hit his 4th of the season, little stomp on the plate. And the other leader of this ball club, Landon Mensick, hits one 410 feet deep into the hog pen, and we've got a knotted-up game at 6, Sean.
It's been a good one so far, and Hogs fans, this is the second home game of the season. They're being treated to a good one right now, though I'm sure most of the folks in attendance are on the edge of their seat. Tie game, and there's a lash right back up the middle and a diving stop by the second baseman, Thomas. He got up and tried to throw. It looked like he was trying to wing it to first base, but they say caught it clean, and that's the first out of the inning.
I think that was just an excited reaction. That was he was showing some emotion right there off the bat. You're thinking, okay, that's going to get by him. Watch his reaction right here. He's like, yeah, well, I made that great play. He was letting the whole stadium know about that one.
It looked like he was trying to throw it on the first base at a glance, and then you look back, and it's like, yeah, it's a big fist pump. Righty kicks and fires. There's a swing and a miss. This time you've got Kojal up to the plate. Of course, homered back in the first inning. Nope. Yes, homered back in the first inning, and then had that triple a little bit later. Swing and a miss there. Last time up, he flied out to center field. He was the first hitter that Carter Muck faced when he came into this game. Muck has given up a homer and 3 total hits, but steadied the ship enough to get Xavier right back into this one after being down 2.
Yeah, he really has. And you feel, talked about momentum shift, even the ball that Helfrich hits, and then if Muck can get Kojal right here, you really have the difference of an inning, because you feel like that the stadium might have started really getting some life into it if that ball would have gotten through by Ryder Helfrich. Muck's wanting another baseball.
We've seen that a few times today, too. Just kind of get rid of it. Don't like the seams.
Yeah,
don't like there's a scuff or something.
You wonder what it was. It's got to be the field of seams.
1-2 line drive to right field. That's in for a base hit, and Kojal has his 3rd knock of the day. He has been lighting it up there at the plate so far, and the Hogs have a base runner here with 1 out.
Well, again, you talk about momentum, and look how big that play is by Thomas. Spearing play that he got off Ryder Helfrich. If he doesn't make that play, now you probably have runners at first and second with no outs, but You also have Kahil Aloy up, who just can launch one out of the stadium at any time.
Well, that's what he did his last time up to the plate. Hit a homer 386 to left field. That's through the wind, and he hit it a mile in the air, and it just kept carrying. He's also walked in this game, but that was his second home run of the season, so now he's back in with a runner on first in a tie game.
I just feel like Aloy is really locked in at the plate right here.
Well, he's taken a few of the pitches like that so far today where that's sort of a borderline pitch. He kind of spits on it and ends up in a 2-0 count.
Yeah, I think when Kahil Aloy can be a little more patient at the plate and really swing at pitches inside the zone, he has so much more success.
2-0 fouled off. Pushes it to 2-1 with one out.
I've said this on other broadcasts, but I know you like to play golf a little bit, Sean.
A tiny bit.
I don't know if you know this or not, and it's been validated by Kahio's dad, but he can drive a golf ball 400 yards.
Oh, I bet.
400 yards with a swing like that. That's absolutely insane.
There's a bouncing ball back up the middle. Second baseman position perfectly. Thomas dives in and gets the out at second. Just beats Koschel to the bag, and it's the second out of the inning. That is an unbelievable play to get that out.
Yeah, I think that was a bang play at second. I think they were asking Koschel, "Did you get there?" And I think that Thomas, the second baseman, who's playing on that left side, I think he beats him. I think this is the right call. Yep. Koschel just kind of put his hands out to the side. The coaching staff was kind of going, "Did you make it? We'll challenge. We've got one left." I think that was a smart move not to challenge that one.
Absolutely. There's a swing and just got a piece of it to foul it back. Reese Robinette is there at the plate, and that's just a strange play because if that shift doesn't happen, there's a chance that ball squeaks through.
Yeah, I agree.
Instead, they've got it played perfectly. 0-1.
Well, you talk about some strange positioning. You've got the shortstop's almost behind second base, but Thomas, the second baseman, is in shallow right field for Reese Robinette. That is a deep playing second baseman.
1-1. Misses outside. It is strange to see it because when these guys, whoever makes it, goes to the next level, this gets taken away.
Yeah.
You have to have two players on each side of the bag. None of the infielders can have their feet off the infield dirt. Whereas here we're seeing a lot of the overshifts and the unique setups defensively that can help you get a lot of outs. Everybody always goes to when it doesn't work, right?
Right.
Oh, you left that big gap over there and stuff. But they don't realize that the other 9 times that it happened.
You wouldn't do it if the percentages weren't in your favor.
Absolutely. It's and they do that. Like, it's crazy the amount of numbers that baseball teams have now to know, this is, if you had to develop an alley for this hitter as to where he's most likely to hit the ball, they will tell you to the square inch where that's going to be on the field.
That is true. The metrics and the analytics don't lie.
2-2 misses outside. It's a full count here to Robinette.
So Kahil Aloy's going to get a head start. You're going to see Townsend, the first baseman, play way behind Kahil Aloy. He's going to be able to get a huge lead. Something in the gap is definitely going to score him from first base.
There's a lot of room with the outfielders playing deep. 3-2, runner takes off, and that's bounced foul on the first base side. They'll do it over. 6-6 game. Arkansas's got 11 hits in this one. Xavier 11. Hoping to pound out a few more, though, and see if they can't knock home a run or two and move to 2-0 at home this season.
Well, that Xavier outfield's playing really deep.
3-2 wide of the zone, and Aloy had taken off, but he'll get to cruise into second base. That's a walk, the second of the day for Muck. Now there's runners at first and second as Micah News steps up.
I think that's probably going to be one of the easiest takes that Reese Robinette's going to have on the season. That missed about 6 feet wide. This is going to bring out Ethan Landon, the pitching coach for the Musketeers.
They do have someone warming out in that bullpen, another right-hander, but you get the feeling that if they could just stabilize Muck, and you have to remember there's 2 outs in the inning right now, so he can certainly get out of it. Let's see, right now 45 pitches for Muck so far, the right-hander. 2 1/3 Give up 4 hits so far with a couple of walks. Looks like we got a pair of arms throwing out there and left. New swings through the first pitch for a strike.
Boy, really good fastball. Tied up Micah New right there. Yeah, Muck's got a good tail on that fastball. Definitely runs into the right-handed hitters.
The 0-1. New tried to check the swing and actually got a piece of it with the bat, so it's an 0-2 count.
Kind of one of those excuse me swings, and you can see the second he made contact with it, really frustrated with himself was Micah New. Big difference being 0-2 instead of being 1-1.
First and second, 2 away. Here's the 0-2 pitch to Micah New. He ropes it foul down the left field line. You keep that one a little bit closer to in play, and that's a lot of trouble out there in left field for Mensick.
Well, Fitz, the catcher, set up down and away for that breaking ball, trying to get a swing and a miss, and that was a mistake. That was down and in breaking ball, and that's how come Micah New hooked that ball foul so far. But you're probably going to see a pitch off the plate or way outside.
Tried to go up that time, and it was a good job by Fitz to try and drag it down into the zone, but that fastball was just a bit too high. It's a 1-2 count.
So there's the show me, change the eye height, so he goes up with a fastball. Now you might want to go down and away with the breaking ball right here.
1-2. High chopper to short. That's picked clean. Peters gets it to Thomas, and they get the out at second base. That's robbing that down on the 6-4 putout. So that ends the inning. It's still a tie ball game here at Baumwalker Stadium. Number 8 Arkansas in a 6-6 tie with Xavier. Well, after 3 innings, 2 runs on 2 hits with 4 strikeouts, the Razorbacks have gone into the bullpen and brought in a righty.
Yeah, they're going to go to Steele Eaves, the Lone Oak, Arkansas native. He just kind of has that bulldog mentality. Eaves will sit probably 91 and 94 with the fastball. Good breaking ball. Really doesn't throw a lot of changeups. And again, you know, his most famous moment, I think, for Steele Eaves is when Arkansas won the Super Regional. He dove into the pond behind the field, which is questionable at best to what kind of critters are out there in the pond. But, yeah, he definitely is a guy that's going to go right at these Musketeer hitters, and with their aggressiveness, this is going to be an interesting matchup.
Well, we'll see what he can do here. He's ready to face the 5, 6, and 7 spots in the order. So we've got Jonathan Fitz, the catcher, on his way up to the plate, who's 1 for 2 with a walk. And then you got Eddie Peters and Tommy Townsend all headed up to the plate to take on Eaves in this one. 6-6 game as we get to the top of the 8th. Another nail-biter here. Right-hander set, ready to throw the first pitch of the game for himself. And that one misses low and away. 95 on the fastball, so he's off to a quick start, even though it's a 1-0 count. Fitz, 429 average now on the year. The 1-0. And gets the inside corner for a strike.
Yeah, Eaves will fill up that strike zone. He'll definitely challenge the hitters. Throws a lot of fastballs. You'll see that mix in the slider as well, but pretty much a 2-pitch mix guy.
1-1 gets to the outside edge for a called strike. It was a good breaking ball planted out there. It's always nice when you can go to the bullpen and know more days than not. Here's the 1-2. On the ground to second. Kojal has it. Sidearm throw. It's in time. That's the first out of the inning on a 4-3 put out. It brings up Eddie Peters, but it's nice when you know you can call onto the bullpen, and more often than not, they're going to come in and be in and around the zone. I don't think that there's any more sinking feeling than when a reliever comes in and he just doesn't have it that night, and all of a sudden you're in the dugout praying for the third out of the inning.
That's right. It's the guys you trust, I think, is what you feel like as a coaching staff.
It's hit into left field, and that's down for a base hit. So Peters steps in, and he gets his first knock of the day. It brings up a left-handed hitter in Tommy Townsend.
Just kind of one off the end of the bat. Not hit very hard, but good swing by Eddie Peters.
Able to just rake that into left field, and Now there's a runner aboard for Townsend, who steps in 1 for 3 on the day with a couple of punch-outs, but he had a single and scored a run back in the 4th inning. Townsend takes a strike that time. I went to the inside corner.
Yeah, really good pitch by Steele Eaves. Down and in, pitcher's pitch. It's one of those ones that, as a hitter, you can't blame one.
Townsend takes another one. That's a strike, a delayed steal from second base, and Peters is in safely with no throw.
That could be a big base right there. The left-hand hitting Townsend, he's a big body in that batter's box, and nobody helped out Ryder Helfrich. That is on the infield, and especially Reese Robinette over at first base. That's his job to let Helfrich know that you got a runner out there going.
Oh, 0-3 gets to the out there. Sorry, the pitch gets to the outside corner, and it's a called strike 3. So Townsend down looking. Second out of the inning, you're a little bit closer, but that runner in scoring position, certainly a problem.
Yeah, the breaking ball that Townsend just kind of gave up on. You see him shaking his head, thinking it's off the plate. Definitely caught part of the plate.
Tanner Thomas, line drive to second. Kojal has it, and that closes out the 8th inning. We've got 14 strikeouts for Razorback pitching, but it's still a 6-6 game as we take it into the bottom half of the 8th. Late early here. 6-6 game.
It really is. I think the Arkansas fans look like they're just a little bit shocked. The Musketeers aren't shocked at all. They expect to be here. This is a team that, again, has a lot of fight that comes from the head coach. They played very well last weekend against East Carolina and won the first 2 games. And what really hurt them was it's really hard to win a doubleheader. So they had some weather coming in on Sunday, so they pushed the Sunday game into Saturday, and they lost that last game. And I think that if they felt like that they could win that 3rd game and sweep the Pirates there in Greenville, if they would have been able to push that game back to Sunday.
Well, they're in a dogfight right now, that's for sure.
They really are.
And you know what? They've stood their ground and they've held their own. They went up in the 3rd inning before the Razorbacks were able to get a run in the bottom half of that frame. Then they got another one in the 4th. That's in on the hands and popped straight up in between the mound and the plate up the first baseline. And, well, that's going to be an out over there. Muck's the one who's able to get to it.
You don't see that happen very often, but again, I like Muck taking that ball. It's been a tough play for Fitz, the catcher. Townsend, the first baseman, is playing pretty deep over there at first. And again, Muck with a great job of pitching inside, really sawing off Pompey with that pitch right there. And Arkansas is looking to get some base runners. They want the freshman Carson Ball to come up with a big hit.
The 9-hitter waits, and he swings through the first pitch.
Boy, really locked him up right there. That was a great fastball, up and in, off the plate. Not a strike, but Brumbaugh couldn't hold up.
So for 3 with a strikeout so far. He lays off that pitch, and it just misses. Oh, he's back in. Muck. The 1-1. Missed inside that time, too. So, yeah, he's in a good spot here at 2-1.
Yeah, you feel like with the power that Brumbaugh has, if he can get this ball up in the air, he might have a chance to lead the yard, and it'd be a nice time to get his first home run as a Razorback.
And
or just
stares at another
or just
one.
Get on base. Just keep spitting on those pitches out of the zone.
Yeah, that one a little bit looked like it was a little bit easier of a take from up here. He got the foot down and never really started to turn on it. So that's good recognition out of the hand to be able to track that pitch. So 3-1 count now. Muck misses inside, so it's a walk. 1 out walk puts a runner aboard, and it's back to the top of the order. Here comes Turner again for the 2nd time today.
A pair of freshmen, Brumbaugh with the walk. You can see this ball really fade inside off the plate. Not even really close to being a strike, but still a good take, and you just got to get on base. any way you can. So Arkansas has another freshman up in Christian Turner.
Turner moves the feet to jump back out of the way. Fitz a nice job blocking that ball. That could have been disastrous had it gotten past him, but instead he keeps it in front. That also keeps Brumbaugh at first base.
That was a very athletic play by Fitz, the catcher. And I think that was a good job by Brumbaugh to stay put. It's like you don't want to run yourself out of this inning right here.
Brumbaugh gets his lead over at first. He's held on. And the pitch misses high and outside. So whereas early on we were talking about the efficiency of the pitching and landing the strikes, right now it kind of seems like Muck likely getting towards the end of his day if he can't necessarily, if he can't really start landing more. But now it seems like he's struggling a little bit. And the worst part is, like, the pitches, the shapes, they're not bad. They're just not in the zone right now.
Yeah, I think so. That was a good visit by the catcher Fitz, and now you're going to see the pitching coach come out. They're gonna make a change right here on a 2-0 count. They can see that Muck has just kind of ran out of gas, and that location has really lost him.
Well, he's got the coach out there, both hands on his shoulders, giving him a pep talk. Meanwhile, we've got someone coming in out of left field from the bullpen. It's a tie game at 6-all, bottom of the 8th inning with one out.
At a 60 feet 6 inches, but the fastball is sitting in the mid to upper 80s. He'll throw a slider and a changeup as well, kind of that 3/4 release type guy. He's tough against lefties, has not given up a hit this season, and righties are only hitting 200 off of the big left-hander.
Well, he takes the mound here in a tie game at 6-6. You've got a runner aboard in Brumbaugh, who's going to go back over to first base after the layover, and now we've got Christian Turner back up to the plate. He's in a 2-0 count, though, which was the thing that left us scratching our heads is, Muck coming out of the game after the first 2 pitches to the leadoff hitter after the order rolled over. But here we are with Helsel. Lefty deals and delivers a strike on his first pitch of the afternoon.
Really safe lead over there at first base by Carson Brumbaugh. It's not a bad job by Christian Turner, because you're going to sit there and go, you're already 2-0. Make him throw a strike. You're still in a hitter's count at 2-1.
He swings and fouls it off to make it 2-2.
Really tough to run on a left-handed pitcher. You probably see Brumbaugh stay put. Third baseman Hammond backs up with 2 strikes. Tough to double up as Christian Turner. He can really fly.
Break even. Swing and a miss. He tried to wait on that breaking ball and just cut right through it for strike 3. Second out of the inning brings up Nolan Souza.
Good job at Christian Turner giving a little inside information after facing the big left-hander Helsel. Souza's definitely got the power to turn this game around.
Left-handed hitter, left-handed pitcher. Souza tried to check his swing as that pitch was fading away, and instead it's a strike, 0-1 count.
I think these left-handers from Arkansas are going to see a steady diet of breaking balls from the left arm of Garrett Helsel.
And the 0-1 misses long way, which is wild because with how big he is, normally you see those guys, they're attack, right? It's 50% fastballs and whatever else. Instead, we've seen a lot of those breaking balls, at least to start out with here.
Well, this ball's not as electric as maybe you thought it would be, in mid-upper 80s.
Runner goes, pitch misses, throw down to second, does not, and they've got him. Caught stealing to end the 8th. We've still got a 6-6 game out here at Baumwalker Stadium.
That's a great throw by Fitz, the catcher. That's a breaking ball down the zone, kind of a sidearm throw. Brumbaugh tries to slide around it, but that's a great job by Peters to make that tag.
by home runs. There's been 5 of them so far.
Well, the wind's been blowing out, and anybody that gets that baseball up in the jet stream has had a lot of success. I think the only runs that have scored besides the home run was a ground ball in the E4 by Cam Kojal. Scored a pair of runs for the Musketeers, but we were talking off camera, Sean, and you know, Xavier is exactly where they want to be. This is a team that is you know, schedules tough games year in, year out, the 5th toughest schedule a season ago. You know, they're not afraid to come up and play against the big guys and tough environments. And, again, it gets back to the grit and the determination kind of set by head coach Billy O'Connor.
The 0-2. Crisp lays off and it misses outside to make it 1-2. Yeah, and I think it goes, you know, he was even talking about, Billy O'Connor was talking about, and we alluded to it earlier, he uses that schedule as a recruiting tool, because when you bring that schedule to kids that are going to go to Xavier wherever, you know, you're really looking at it and going, okay, is this kid going to look at this and go, I'm going to get to play in Arkansas or LSU or wherever it is, or are they going to look at it and go, that might be an 0 for 3?
Yeah. Or do I have to play there? And
right.
Are you going to be a little bit scared?
2-2 lifted in the air to left field. Long run out there and a nice running grab for the first out of the inning. Turner closed a lot of space there quickly.
Yeah, this being the 9th inning, Arkansas's got their outfielders just like Xavier of playing very deep, because you just don't want a double extra base hit in that situation. And this is where the wind really helped Arkansas, because even though Christian Turner's got tremendous speed, that wind blew that ball out to him a little farther.
Luke Hammond up to the plate. Big swing and a miss. That time the breaking ball kind of faded away right there. And I guess, Troy, it does beg the question, you know, Helsel came in as a lefty, and you have to wonder if, yeah, part of that is that they trust him, but also that helps you in a matchup where the wind is blowing out for a left-handed hitter.
Absolutely. Just a couple great dotted breaking ball on the first pitch by Steele Eves, and the fastball right there. I mean, you can't walk it up and put it in the catcher's mitt any better. I think that Ryder Helfrich might have stolen a strike right there.
The 0-2. Hammond fists it back up the middle. A rambling ball behind the bag. Picked up and fired to first in time. Brumbaugh was there to make the play, and it's the second out of the inning.
Well, new for Arkansas fans, if you don't know the arm strength of Carson Brumbaugh, you saw it right there. He can come up in the mid-90s, and they might see him pitch sometime in this Arkansas career. Probably not this year, but he can get on the bump and go. So that was a tough play, very athletic by the freshman.
I'll tell you what, if he could throw 90 from the arm slot he just threw that ball from, he would be a problem at every level of baseball.
I think if you're going to steal a base and he can throw it from that angle, you're going to get down when you slide into second base.
No, you're not getting down. You're pulling out. You're just peeling off into the outfield and hoping you get out in time.
And end up in shallow right.
Josh Stonehouse at the plate. 0-1. On the ground to second. Diving try, but it's past Kojal and out to Aloy in right field. And so it's a knock here in the 9th inning. That's the go-ahead run with 2 outs that's at first base. That's Stonehouse's second hit. That one also hit pretty hard, but didn't quite have the distance that his first knock of the day
I think
did.
that is kind of a relief for Arkansas. If you can just keep Stonehouse in the field of play, I think that's almost a win in that situation.
Stonehouse gets his lead at first. Still 2 outs as Mensick steps in, the 3-hole guy. And he fights it off up and out of play on the right side.
And Mensick's last at bat, he did hit a home run. Him and Stonehouse went back-to-back in that 7th inning.
Another ball gets discarded over on the first base side.
Those are going to be some pretty good BP balls. That's not
They're going to be fresh. 0-1. Breaking ball on the ground to short. Brumbaugh has it, throws it to first. It's in time. Eves is out of the inning. So it's a 6-6 game. We go to the bottom of the 9th, and the Razorbacks have a chance to walk it off on a Saturday afternoon at Baum-Walker Stadium. Kojal all due up to the plate in a 6-6 game. And I'll tell you what, at this point, Troy, I don't know which way is up today because I've seen so many lead changes that if you told me that we were going to be in a tie ball game back in the 4th inning, I probably would have believed you, or at the very least laughed.
Right, that's so right. But yeah, the momentum swings of this ball game have just been literally almost constant. It almost feels like a basketball game more than a baseball game. But you got the left on left here, and let's see if Arkansas can't do something. You felt like that fairly quick inning by Steele Eaves. He did give up the base hit to Stonehouse, but the quick inning by Steele Eaves, allows Arkansas some momentum shift to come right here. And boy, you better get a really good pitch if you're Nolan Souza. This is going to be one that if you swing at it, you feel like you can almost take this one out of the park because you just need a base runner in this situation.
Got the outfield playing deep again. Middle infield is playing back as well. 2-0. And got a high strike right there. Souza kind of looked back to home plate and said, I don't know. But it's 2-1. And that pitch gets the inside corner, and once again, you kind of get to look back a little bit. The 2-2. Souza swings and fouls it straight back. So it stays 2 balls and 2 strikes after an off-speed pitch.
Good job by Souza keeping that front shoulder closed.
He's K'd twice in this one, but he's also hit the ball deep to left field a couple of times. The 2-2. Swinging a fly ball, slicing into left center. Crisp back, and he makes the catch backpedaling out in front of the track for out number 1 in the bottom of the 9th inning. So fly ball to center field brings up Ryder Helfrich, and this is going to be one of your better chances to just shut the door on the game. He's got 2 hits, one of which is a homer. And, well, it looks like we may be getting a little visit here to the mound.
This might be a pitching change right here. You had Helsel coming in there, and he got the out that he needed. You can see he already knows he's probably going to come out of the game. He's getting the congratulations from his pitching coach, and they're going to go right on right here. And I don't think this is a bad move.
No, this late in the game, I think that it's almost expected to get your matchup guys in there. It's a great opportunity to get those guys some work early on. But in a tie ball game, Xavier goes back to the bullpen. Hitting with 1 out.
I tell you what, you don't have any skinny guys come out of the bullpen for the Musketeers. How about 6'2", 225 is Owen Poole. He'll run that fastball into the low 90s. Kind of a 2-pitch mix guy. He'll throw a slider as well. So I think if you're Ryder Helfrich, you got kind of a 3/4 release guy right here. I'm thinking, up the middle the other way. I'm going to try to stay on that slider. Helfrich with plenty of power to hit it out to right center field.
Look, I know this is a tense situation and everything like that, but I have a question.
Okay.
How safe do you think Billy O'Connor feels when he gets off the bus and these guys are coming off with him?
Yeah.
These are some big dudes coming in out of this bullpen.
Nobody's going to mess with you after the game if you take the bus somewhere. Yeah, these are some guys that should be playing some football.
Helfrich, a line drive to short, one hop, and a nice backhanded pick. Peters to first, and it's in time for the second out. So Poole comes in and gives up hard contact, but to the perfect place on the infield.
Really good positioning right there by Xavier. Had the shortstop Peters just kind of swung around in that hole just a little bit. This is a little interesting. The umpire walks the baseball all the way out to the pitcher. They're going to have another conversation here. There's nobody in the bullpen, so I think this is just going to see how do you handle Camden Kojal. He's already hit a pair of home runs in consecutive games, and so they're like, hey, let's not leave anything up to this guy. I know he's a second baseman, but he does have some pop.
Well, if he didn't know before, coming into this game, Kojal had the 3 home runs. He hit his 4th in the 1st. He has a triple in the 3rd and a single in the 7th. So Kojal just a double away from hitting for the cycle.
Yeah, that's big, but I think Cam would take a home run right here.
Yeah, I have a feeling everybody in the first base dugout would. And probably, I don't know, 99% of the people in the stands.
Pretty safe first pitch. Getting the breaking ball down the zone. Probably not to try to keep anything elevated to Kojal.
He swings and misses. Saw the helmet bob there as he came through on the backswing. Went after that breaking ball down, kind of on the inside, and just couldn't connect with it. So it's evened up at 1-1. The right side of the infield playing back along with the shortstop Peters. 1-1. Tried to loop a breaking ball in there, but it missed low.
That's 3 straight breaking balls that Kojal has seen. Again, the one he swung at was probably a ball, just a great pitch by Poole, but you can say everything is below the knees. It's like, okay, let's not hang anything to Kojal.
2-1. That missed down and in. Pushes it to 3 balls, 1 strike. So a true hitter's count with 2 outs here. We'll see what they decide to do here with Kojal, because on one hand, as you mentioned, he's been on a bit of a power swing lately. But at the same time, the base runners are important, especially with the 2 outs.
And you bring Kahil Aloy up, who can hit it out of, Yellowstone, I think, if he needed to.
3-1. Line drive hit hard into left center field, tailing and down, rolls all the way out to the base of the wall. Kojal headed to second. He's in with a double, and he hits for the cycle.
I don't even know if he realizes that. Maybe he does, but that is hitting for the cycle is really rare. I never did it, and that's a very, very impressive. I think maybe the last one might have been Robert Moore. They just announced it in the stadium. He's getting a standing ovation right now from the faithful at Baum Walker.
It's an incredible feat. Like you said, incredibly rare. There's a lot of luck involved with it, right?
The triple's the hard one. That's usually the hard one to get.
Time called right before the pitch was thrown, and so Aloy still in an 0-0, or no, actually they call a pitch clock violation right there, I think.
1 ball, no strikes.
All right. Pull set, checks the runner on second with 2 outs. Here's the 1-0. Aloy lays off, the pitch misses high.
This is a hard thing. If you're the outfield, they're playing deep because of the wind, but a base hit is going to easily score the runner. I'm surprised they're not at least a couple steps closer than where they are in the outfield. There's no chance to throw out Kojal at the plate.
2-0. Aloy lays off a breaking ball that got in. That's a really nice pitch right there.
I think that thing had some hover to it. 77 miles an hour, and that took about almost a second and a half to get to the plate.
Hard to time that one up.
It was. A little frisbee.
2-1. Breaking ball swung on and missed to make it 2-2. He got a very similar pitch in a similar spot. He was waiting for it that time.
Still a strike, up and in. Tough pitch to handle.
Put a little more on it at 79.
I think if I'm Poole, I'm going to try to throw this breaking ball off the plate. That's where the catcher Fitz is setting up.
2-2. Lifted into left field. Down for a base hit. Kojal's around third, headed for home. The throw's not in time, and the Razorbacks get a walk-off win on a Saturday afternoon in Fayetteville.
They ripped the jersey off of Kahil Aloy. I talked about how deep that outfield was playing when that ball was kind of cued off the end of the bat. I do not think that that's where Fitz wanted that pitch. It was a breaking ball that was left up over the plate, and Kahil Aloy just cued that into left field, and the speed of Kojal allows Arkansas to get away from a victory right here. That was a game that went back and forth, Sean, but you can see it again. Ball. It's up in the zone. It's not down and away. Aloy gets it. He hits just enough of it. Watch the break by Kojal. Great break. He knows there's 2 outs. But look how deep Minsick, the left fielder, is. No really chance to get Kojal at the plate. I love how he was for sure drug that hand across home plate, and big win for Arkansas.
Huge win for Arkansas. Not only that, you know, to have the 2 errors along with the Baker's dozen worth of hits that they had today, and to gut that one out with all of the homers, all of the strikeouts that we saw, everything down the line, and then on top of that to get into the 9th inning, and with 2 outs, you watch a cycle happen, and then the next hitter that comes up sees the same pitch 3 times in one at bat, and the 3rd time he's on it to
He's
get
going to get
the hit in there.
That's right. That's a very good Xavier team. Arkansas is going to have their hands full tomorrow. They're happy to come away with this one with a victory. Maybe not the prettiest win for Arkansas, but they're going to take it. Congrats to Cam Kojal. Cycle. That's big. He'll remember that one for the rest of his life.
It's an unbelievable feat. And so, Troy, what a great game, right?
It was a fun one. Had some big strikeouts on both sides, back and forth momentum. Big victory for Arkansas. They won 7-6.
We'll be back again tomorrow with another game between these two to close out the series. For Troy Eklund, I'm Sean Murnan. Thanks so much for joining us. 7-6, a walk-off win for the Razorbacks at home in the second home game of the season.